too hot.
It's incredibly hot out there.
It's hot out there. It's a scorcher. It's gonna be a hot one, everybody. But I'm not talking about the weather. I'm talking about video games.
Yes.
Because this week, Michael and I are doing E3 wrap up. I don't know. This might be one of the first 3-segment podcasts that's ever happened on RageSelect.
Should we call it E3?
Well, no, I don't.
Faux 3?
Everybody keeps talking about
Summerfest
E3. It's fucking E3. It's just the ESA isn't there. Like
As they shouldn't be.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Welcome back to the RageSelect podcast. I was just about to say Dojo. Welcome back to RageSelect podcast, everybody on RageSelect. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike. And we're not playing Ninja Turtles.
We are doing Bethesda, Xbox, Capcom, Devolver, maybe the PC gaming show, and I got some other shit on top of that. So
It's true.
we are not fucking around this week. We're gonna see how much we can get through. Yeah, video games. Okay. You know what? I know I just said there wasn't any fucking around, but here's a little bit of fucking around. In general, I would like to say that if this is what a non-E3 kind of like summer game expo announcement looks like, I've watched E3s that weren't as good as the lineup this year.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, it was great between Summer Games Fest and Xbox and Devolver, all those things. Like, there wasn't a Nintendo Direct, but Sony had a State of Play the week before.
They did, yeah. And that was a pretty solid State of Play.
And I didn't even watch. There was, like, the Netflix gaming show and
I didn't either.
The cozy, gentle gaming show. And there was, like, the Future Game show with Geralt.
Did that happen too?
It did. I didn't even watch it. I didn't
forgot
fucking
about
watch
that.
it. There's already too much to talk about. I didn't need more.
The only thing I got on the Netflix one was the Castlevania announcement, which I'm cool with. So
you know what they keep saying with Netflix that it's like, yeah, with Netflix we're putting out games now, games on your phone that you can play with Netflix. And as near as I can tell, they're not in the actual Netflix like app. They're not in the movie app. It's like you have to download them separately. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. But that's phone games. These are games for phones, man. We got a whole thing full of games that are not for phones, and
for the most part.
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure one or two of them might be on a phone.
I'm trying to think, actually.
There's one, but I don't think we're ever going to get to it.
Yeah.
That was a Final Fantasy thing.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, oh yeah, the only Final Fantasy things we're talking about are not phone games, because it is already. Anyway, all right, Xbox and Bethesda. We started out with a official gameplay reveal for Redfall.
Here's what I'll say about this trailer.
Yep.
It looks a lot more like a game I'd want to play than I thought it would be.
Okay.
Because when they first announced it, it was this like stylized trailer that was like trying to be
It was just a cinematic.
Yeah. But it was one of those things where I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to give a fuck about this,
right?
Kind of thing, because I felt like I was out of the idea of these things.
Yeah.
But then they reminded me as to why I like these ideas.
Right.
Because it's just Vampire Left 4 Dead, and I have no issues with this.
So,
for the most part,
I love Arcane, but I've decided that like I missed the boat on the Left 4 Dead. Like I wasn't doing Left 4 Dead. Are you looking at an invisible phone?
No, I was burping.
Oh, okay. You had your hand up like you had a phone in it.
No, I was trying to like be like,
okay, all right,
but not without saying if that makes sense.
So
to be or not to be.
I didn't do the. Yeah, this works really well for audio. I never got on the Left 4 Dead train. And I've tried. I tried out Back 4 Blood and some of the other stuff that they've done, Call of Duty Zombies, stuff like that. None of it really worked all that well for me. I've never been a big fan of the like 4-player PvE scene, but I really do like Arcane. I like everything they put out, Deathloop and Prey and fucking Dishonored and all that stuff.
Yeah. And this was made right here in Austin.
Yeah. So. The thing is, they keep saying a thing, Michael. They keep saying a thing, and I want to know whether it's true or not true. The thing is, they keep saying you can play this game with your friends or single player. Now, a lot of times when they say that, they lie.
Well, when they say that, it means like it's a mode with bots in it.
Right.
and the bots are real stupid.
Or it's bad. It's like it's not very good. It was obviously made to be played as a multiplayer game.
Titanfall 1 is a really good example of
right.
that.
Like you could play it technically as a single player game, but you shouldn't. And so the thing is, I like everything I'm seeing here, kind of this weird, I don't know, like first person shooting vampires.
Yeah.
Got some special powers. The story is like this whole town's been taken over by vampires, and so the plucky kids have to get out their shotguns and like magic powers.
Well, one of them has magic powers.
Cryptids.
One of them's like really into cryptids.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get to hear everything they said because I watched it in the middle of work.
Yeah. So the thing is that I like Arcane, and Arcane has a lot of goodwill built up with me. This is one of those ones where very specifically I'm glad that Game Pass is a thing.
Yeah.
Because if I had to shell out a full $60 for this and I was just like a regular ass consumer, I would think twice. I would definitely wait, maybe watch some reviews and stuff like that, because
was this on the Xbox One X or one and then just the one, I guess? Or is
Series X?
Or is it only a Series X game?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember what this one.
Because if so, it might be a $70 game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Because we're at the point where games are going to start being that as time goes on.
The Quarry was $70. It was like the first time in a while that I've had to actually shell out a full $70. So yeah, I don't know. Like, it doesn't look bad. It does look a little bit more action oriented than a lot of the other Arcane games, right? Like most of the Arcane games have like powers and like more esoteric kind of stuff. Also, it's a bunch of teenagers, and I fucking hate teenagers, so...
That's fair. I can't blame you on that.
But, you know, whatever. Like, the main thing is, it's just a question of... I was talking in the chat about how I think that Game Pass has really changed the whole dynamic of, like, this show, particularly.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that looking at a thing at E3 was to get you excited, and they wanted to get you excited so that you would go out and spend $60 on it. But, like, I'm not going to cancel my Game Pass subscription, and if you have an Xbox or a PC, like, you can just fucking install this thing, try it out, see if it's any good, and then if you don't like it, fucking uninstall it, and you're not out $60. So
I think that's the most interesting thing about the way Game Pass is now is that a lot of these announcements always ended with play day one on Game Pass.
Right.
And that's such a weird idea now. Instead of being like, it releases this day and you can pre-order it now.
Right.
Like, I don't think they've ever once said, hey, make sure you pre-order this and you'll get the super duper special edition. Instead, they all end with day one on Game Pass.
At the end of this,
they're not expecting anyone to actually go out and buy these, which I think is fascinating.
At the end of this, they had a big grid. I don't know if you saw it. That was like 2022 and 2023, and it had like a big grid full of games. And
it's like the 12-month time frame, right?
They had, because one of the big things for this was like all these games are coming out in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
And they all had, a lot of them had like day one Game Pass or included with Game Pass and that kind of thing. And the only thing I saw on the 2022 release list that didn't have that was the Callisto Protocol was on there, but it was not on Game Pass. But everything else was, and it was like, oh, okay, shit. Also, spoiler alert: 2022, the back half of 2022 looks like it's going to be a little like muted for Xbox.
The most shocking thing was that there's nothing Halo related in the entire thing.
Season 3 of Halo multiplayer.
Not even a mention,
no.
As far as I know.
2023 is when Redfall's coming out. From there, we got a trailer for Hollow Knight Silksong, but don't get excited because there's still no release date.
Yeah, I was expecting to see one, but nothing ever popped up.
I never was really able to get all the way into Hollow Knight. It was a little, I don't know. I tried it several times. It just didn't really stick with me. I know people really like it, and people are really excited for Silksong. And I mean, you know, this definitely looks like Hollow Knight AF.
People really, really like Hollow Knight. And those people are very excited.
Yeah, good, you know, good for them. Maybe Silksong will be maybe I'll play Silksong and then I'll get the bug. Get it? Because they're a little buggy.
I get it.
And then go back and play Hollow Knight. But there's not much more to say here because there's literally just, you know, it's an action trailer full of platforming and action. There's not much to say here. It looks like
cool.
Hollow Knight.
All I'll say, yeah.
So
and it's a lot of Hollow Knight footage, which is nice.
From there, I was so happy that Squanch Games is back. I love Squanch Games.
I do too.
Makers of Trover Saves the World,
Saves the Universe,
and what was the VR one?
Well, they did the Rick and Morty VR game.
No, the one was before that had like the VR into VR into VR into. It's like Office
Simulator,
something like that. No, that's a different one.
Simulator. It's Office something. I just don't remember the name of it.
Okay, Rick and Morty may not be my favorite show anymore, but I still like Justin Roiland just fucking like freeballing dialogue.
I do too.
Like I still kind of dig that. And this game is, what is it called again? It's called Becoming High on Life.
Yeah, High on Life.
And it's like you are a human being who has been kidnapped by aliens because they're getting high off of humans.
They're getting high off their life.
Yes. And you've got to rescue the humans. You become an intergalactic bounty hunter that has to like stop this evil scheme. But all of your guns are little guys with a face on the back that talk to you.
It's like a sentient race of guns.
Yeah.
Who are the friends of Justin Roiland gun.
Yep.
And they're just fucking weird as shit to look at.
And they all got little, like, googly eyes. Like, I saw there was a thing early on. I don't know if you noticed this. I was looking at this in, like, detail. There's a point early on where they have this kind of, like, this blue caterpillar gun. And when he goes to I don't know if it's earlier than this. When he goes to shoot it, it's got little like antenna, and the little antenna come up into they join together into like an iron sight.
That's fucking cool.
When he goes to shoot it. Also, it's colorful and it's crazy and like, yeah, man, I'm totally all over this. Like,
it's also really cool looking.
Yeah, it looks like they've really upped the fidelity of everything that you're seeing.
Because Trover Saves the Universe was very much like, it looked like more of a cartoony everything.
Yeah,
like even its areas it looked like a Rick and Morty cartoon come to life, like straight up.
Yeah,
where this actually looks like a game that happens to have some Rick and Morty stuff going on.
You know what it reminds me a lot of is like Journey to a Savage Planet. Like, it kind of reminds me of something like that, or like
to that idea.
Outer Wilds with weird caterpillar guns.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because the aesthetic of everything looks so nice.
Yeah, look, you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. It was just really cool, and the way everything just works. And I found out this was supposed to be a Stadia game originally.
Yeah,
which was fucking crazy.
Also, there's a knife.
Yeah, a knife with a face on it.
With a face that just encourages you to stab aliens. I don't know. This looks fucking great. This looks like the kind of dumb shit that is right up my alley.
Oh, absolutely. And if it's anywhere closest to funny as Trover was, I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I feel like in the last few years, Michael, that we don't have as many like funny games as we used to.
No. And I think that comes down to the fact that it's hard to make that idea
comedy games, or
because there are games that like they start off with a nice idea. Like Eat Lead, I think, is a good example of a game that I thought had a great premise and just never fucking worked.
Yeah.
If anybody's curious, Eat Lead was a make fun of what's nowadays called boomer shooters, kind of thing, but mostly Duke Nukem, and it was voiced by Will Arnett. Had all these great writers and stuff on it. Neil
Patrick Harris was the bad guy.
Yeah, it sounds awesome on paper.
Yeah,
and then you play it, and you're like, man, this game is fucking awful.
Whereas this is just, I don't know, it looks ridiculous and colorful and all kinds of like exploding like juices, turbulent juice. Coming for the mannies, the muscular mannies,
and the final shot of the trailer is just like, it looks like a one of the commercials from from
Interdimensional Cable, yeah,
because it's just some dude saying something over and over again.
He's like, yeah, now I can do it. Now I can do it.
It's just so weird.
This is coming out October this year, and I fucking can't wait. Like,
I'm pretty excited.
Dude, fuck Modern Warfare 2. I'm all about High on Life.
And day one on Game Pass.
Day one on Game Pass.
Which is fucking crazy.
So, yeah, good stuff. I'm all in, 100%. I'm glad that somebody keeps giving Justin Roiland money to make video games that obviously don't sell very well.
Yeah, there's no way Trover sold that well.
Yeah,
as much as I like that game, I doubt it sold that well.
Yeah. Well, I feel like they just keep throwing money at him, hoping that one of those money balls that they pitch at him is going to turn into another Rick and Morty. Right?
That's true. Rick and Morty was such a fluke in my opinion.
Like, I don't know why Solar Opposites has 2 seasons.
I think it's the exact thing you said. They're throwing money at him and hoping it sticks.
Yeah, and
it sticks well enough for some people, but yeah.
Yep. Okay, let's see. From there, we got a
bunch of League shit.
Riot Games is adding a whole bunch of League properties to the console. So this is easier if you just cut this. So let's see. All champions unlocked to League of Legends on the PC. League of Legends Wild Rift on mobile.
See, I told you to talk about mobile.
There you go. Legends Runes of Runeterra or Legends of Runeterra on PC and mobile. Teamfight Tactics on PC and mobile, and Valorant on PC.
And yeah, certain things are unlocked if you have it through the Game Pass thing, which I think is interesting.
It's a little weird that they didn't announce any of the other games, because like Valorant or that Riot has like that fighting game that they're making with the League of Legends characters, and there's like a platformer, and there's like that one with that Tequila Softworks is doing, and none of those. It was all just like the current shit, like League and Valorant.
I think it's because they wanted it to be the idea of like out now kind of idea.
It probably also doesn't hurt that the fact that League is running pretty well because of Arcane's success.
Yeah.
So
Arcane's been doing really, really well.
And it is kind of weird though to think that League of Legends isn't on consoles already.
It is kind of weird, but at the same time, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
because from what I hear, the League of Legends community is batshit insane.
Yeah, they're still trying to get away from that though. They're trying,
but not very hard apparently.
Yeah. The thing is that, can you imagine what it would be like if you were just like, I don't know, you're like a regular person that plays some, I don't know, moderate video games, and then you watch Arcane and you're like, wow, I really love this. I want to get into the game that this is based on, and then you load up League of Legends, and then you go through like, I don't even know if there's a tutorial, but just the amount of shit you need to know, and then God help you because you're just going to be getting yelled at for like a year before you're bad enough to understand how bad you actually are.
I'm always on Reddit, and I keep seeing people talk about when they played League of Legends.
Yeah.
And they're like, I actually like to play this game, but I was called so many different terrible names.
Yeah. Which is weird because they have such a strong like art style and like the characters and stuff, but then the actual game itself is just, you know, a MOBA.
Yeah.
Or like this is like a Hearthstone.
It's kind of like the only MOBA still really that popular.
I guess Dota 2 is still kicking.
I guess that's true. Those are the only two that I can think of.
I wonder what ever happened to the what was the
Pokemon one?
No, what was that thing that was like the next thing after MOBAs where it was like the auto chess. I
forgot that was a thing.
That was like there was actually a Dota 2 auto chess that came out, and then it just kind of disappeared, and nobody talked about it.
I guess it just never stuck.
Yeah, I guess. Or maybe I don't even know what. That's auto chess.
Is that's
what this is. What we're just looking at right here. Whichever one this is. Which one is this? Teamfight Tactics. I guess that's their auto chess.
I think that's just them saying the thing.
Oh.
I don't think that's the name of the game.
Oh. No. That's the name of one of the games.
Teamfight Tactics?
Yeah.
Are we sure?
Yeah. See? Right here.
Oh, I guess it is.
Teamfight Tactics.
That's weird.
Telling you, man.
That's stupid. No wonder we don't know anything about it.
And Valorant, just in case you want to play Counter-Strike, Overwatch, in case...
Valorant's still a thing?
Oh, dude, it's huge on the PC.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah. If Overwatch hasn't become enough of a Counter-Strike clone for you, Valorant is here to be more of a Counter-Strike clone for you. So...
That game sort of came and went, in my opinion. But
the thing is, I mean, you know, it's like I was loading up one of the what was it they put like what's that Ubisoft game where you fight with knights in armor? For Honor.
Yeah.
Like For Honor, I think came up on my Game Pass, and it was like Season 6 out now, and I was like, you got to remember that it's like just because you're not interested in the thing doesn't mean that there aren't at least like 5,000 crazy people in the entire world who are keeping this shit alive.
That's true, Jeff.
The fucking candles are lit, the beacons are lit, and they're out there every day. Like, no, For Honor is my favorite game, and I am not going to stop playing
Except for Babylon's Fall.
Except for Babylon's Fall.
There's that one guy.
Sure. Or what was Steam's card game that I don't even remember the name of it anymore.
Anthem? No, not Anthem.
No.
Artifact?
Artifact. That's right. That's what it was. So, yeah, you get a bunch of games. A lot of these are already free to play, but you're going to get a bunch of unlocks and stuff.
Fun fact, I almost fell asleep during our Artifact Let's Play.
Oh.
I almost passed right the fuck out.
Everybody knew.
It was bad. I hated it.
Let's see. From there, we got a new trailer for
Plague's Tale 2, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Plague Tale Requiem. Not Plague Tale Innocence. This one is it looks like the main character has a little bit more like combat experience.
Yeah, they've been at this for a bit.
Yeah,
in a world full of massive amounts of rats.
And it also appears that I'm not sure if I never played the first one. Please don't spoil it. I may someday, but like
we started it, we never got very far.
We really liked what we played.
Well, we liked it a lot.
But
we were shocked it did as well as it did.
Yeah,
because it's so artsy.
It seems like this character, the main character, has like a companion that's like a kid that's trying really hard to get them to not kill anybody. Like they're being real vocal about chastising them for killing people.
Still, but I don't know what happened at the first one. So.
Yeah, I don't know either. It could be the brother. I don't know. But this also looks like it's got a lot of different environments. It got some kind of like dusty, cavernous levels and. Like forests and all kinds of stuff. So
just slingshotted that dude's head off.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, again, these games,
fucking swarm of rats fucks me up every time.
These games always remind me that it's just like, yeah, this is probably a very good game. It's just I don't know that it's quite interesting enough for me to want to sit down and play the whole thing.
That's fair.
Because at this point, like. I don't know. There's just a lot of games to play.
Can he control rats? Is that what that final part was?
I think that there was something. Okay, seriously, don't go into the comments and say stuff, or I'll ban you. I think there was something in the first one about how the brother can control the rat. There's something about somebody can control the rats. Like there's
already made a Willard reference earlier.
There's a mind behind the rats. Or people can control the rats or whatever. Something's going on.
It's
there.
The Rat King.
Yeah, it's the Rat. It's fucking the Rat King. You get Baxter Stockman and his Mausers out here to take care of these things. So yeah, that's coming out this year.
What if it's just a dark and gritty Pied Piper story?
That's fine.
Did anyone ever think of that?
That's it's fine. From there, we finally got the actual announcement. We've had the leaks and rumors and such for a while that Forza is getting rebooted. The motorsport side of Forza is getting rebooted into a more, well, I don't really know. Like, the problem is, what was the... Oh, no, it was this. It was literally when I was watching this. I was pre-watching some of the stuff to refresh myself on what we were going to talk about this week, Michael.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what do I have to say about Forza Motorsport? And I'm like, nothing.
No, not really. It's just more, it's racing.
Like, I wish I could tell you the differences in gameplay, but the biggest thing they focused on was graphics. Was like ray tracing and weather effects and like how good the cars look and damage and stuff like that. Like that was their main focus in this segment. Not
a lot of it just seems to be down to the fact that it's all in like it's an actual like race car track stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the stuff in Horizon nowadays is like race in the middle of the desert or whatever.
Right.
Like that sort of idea.
Yeah, because Horizon's the open world one, and then Forza Motorsport is like the Gran Turismo racing one.
Exactly.
But I don't think there's been an actual motorsport entry for a while now,
for a very long time.
Because Horizon 4 and 5
is at 5 now,
and like I think the last
it hadn't been on
Motorsport was like 3.
I want to say it was 2, to be honest.
Let's look it up. Let's not speculate wildly when we've got an internet.
Well, the issue is I never really played the Forza games to begin with because I didn't really play racing games.
Oh no. Let's see.
But, yeah.
Motorsport went up to.
It's a little higher. 7.
That's
a 7 of them,
and that was in 2017.
Sure. Wait, when was the first one that came out?
That was 2005.
2000. That thing is from 2005.
Yep.
That I did not know.
Yep.
That blows my mind.
Was that was 360, right? No, that was original Xbox game. Oh shit. Okay, I didn't realize it went back that far.
That blows my mind, guys. I didn't realize that.
Honestly, like the thing is that when the original Forza came out, I didn't have an Xbox, and I wasn't doing a show. Go back to that Forza
box real quick. I want to point something out about it.
Okay. Is that going to work for people that are listening?
No, but I want to point out the fact that this original Forza Motorsport thing looks so fucking generic that I would have thought it was a
shovelware.
Shovelware.
Just garbage.
Game,
$20.
Which is probably why I never realized it existed.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Most of the original Xbox's games were like shovelware garbage.
It's true.
So, but hey, seriously, like if you want a really pretty racing game, this appears to be a very, very pretty racing game.
Yeah. They put a lot of work into it. They said they took pictures of trees and shit.
Yep.
To make sure the trees were real looking.
Yep. Great. That's what I'm always looking at when I'm racing is the trees.
Look at the trees, Jeff. They change colors.
Oh my God.
No,
yeah, I don't know really what to say about this. It looks very, very beautiful. You're a very pretty girl, Forza. I guess the big thing is the question of, because I've been listening to Bryce complain for like 2 months straight about how the Gran Turismo doesn't have an end game right now. So it's like when you get to the end of the game, or that'll be like these really, really expensive cars that you can buy at the end of the game, like these very expensive cars you have to grind to get the money for.
Yeah.
And then there's one race that you can race them in once you get them. And it's like, because they're like this super high sport car.
Yeah.
And so there's only one super high sport race. And it's like, what the fuck, you guys?
That's super weird. That's really fucking weird.
So, yeah, maybe Forza will be the one to maybe people don't want to go to the coffee shop and hear about the history of hatchback sedans. Maybe they just want to race in a really pretty track.
Yeah.
So,
they're good for the Forza fans, though. But these guys have stuck by the series through thick and thin. I
just want to know if they have the rewind functionality still, because that was to me always the biggest difference between Forza and Gran Turismo, was the idea that if you're not some kind of like super big race guy, you could just oh shit, I took that turn wrong, let me rewind and slow down a little more. I
could see that,
but
that could be a fun thing to keep doing.
I'll tell you though, I'm not as interested in Forza Motorsport with all of its ray tracing and trees and fucking rivers and fucking I don't give a shit. But I am really excited about they went to the flight simulator stuff.
Yeah, so they actually, for some reason, the conference doesn't show the thing you were thinking of.
Well, no,
later on.
It's in there at some point. Okay, I'm just skipping it. We'll go back to it later.
Yeah.
Forza. Oh shit! I closed my tabs. Forza Horizon is also. Forza Horizon 5 is getting Hot Wheels DLC, baby. Yep. That makes it look. That's just like big ass Hot Wheels tracks.
Yeah.
Going around like they took Forza Horizon 5 and then put a bunch of orange Hot Wheels tracks up in the sky.
It's kind of amazing, actually.
And you get to drive your car around on big virtual. Well, remember in Forza Horizon 4 they had the Lego expansion.
They did.
Because I played that shit on stream.
I remember that, yeah.
But yeah, this looks real stupid.
I have stickers that you can put that say Hot Wheels on the side of it too.
I love it. It looks like, you know what it reminds me of is what's that procedurally generated thing that people are like rabid fans of? Trackmania.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Trackmania because of all the tracks up in the sky and shit.
It looks really cool, though.
There's that volcano that we couldn't get to.
Also, yeah. I also love that like the tracks even have the boosters that those tracks have, which is really cool.
No, it looks. I mean, there's a difference between driving around Mexico and driving through the air in Mexico. So
yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, great. I'm glad that they've got fuck around money to just be like, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I'll play this. I mean,
if I was Hot Wheels, I would have a hard time saying no to that idea.
And that's coming out next month, July 19th.
Very soon.
Anyway, back to the boring shit. From the car simulator, we went to Microsoft Flight Simulator.
You're not excited about the Wright brothers plane, Jeff?
Okay, like I actually, I've said this before a long time ago, but like my grandfather worked at the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. Like he kind of built the entire like gift shop that funded the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio, and he worked there for his entire life. And like when he retired, they gave him like a piece that was cut off of the Wright Flyer in like a case.
Oh wow!
And so I actually kind of know a little bit about this. The Wright Flyer flew for like 100 feet, right? Like
of course.
And like got off the ground, like 3 feet off the ground for like a tiny amount, and then went back down. And then they're like, "Yeah, man, fly around the fucking Rio de Janeiro or whatever." And I'm like, "That's not how that thing works, bro."
So you got to turn on the autopilot, Jeff. You can trust the autopilot.
Yeah. So they're putting that in. They're putting in Spirit of St. Louis. They're putting in a bunch of other airplanes. Hey, they're putting airplanes into Microsoft Flight Simulator.
But they put in one random ass thing in Microsoft Simulator at the end of this trailer.
Is that okay? Now I guess this has to be some kind of famous plane.
It says the GB on the side of it.
Oh, that's the GB. I've seen that thing. It's in the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio, that I've gone to hundreds of times because every time we went to visit Grandma and Grandpa, we went there.
Do you know what it was?
It's like a racing plane. It's like it's like a Rocketeer, you know, when they're doing like the racing around the thing.
Oh.
I think.
That sounds right, yeah.
I think. And I could be wrong. I could just be thinking there's a lot of fucking airplanes in the Air Force Museum.
Well, of course. There's a Transformer there, don't you remember, from Revenge of the Fallen or whatever?
That's right. There's a bunch of them. They got, you know what they got up there is they got a bunch of the old Air Force Ones, like the old presidential aircraft,
the decommissioned ones.
Yeah, like the old DC
I think they're up to
models
4
and stuff.
or something like that now.
There's some real cool shit. If you ever get a chance, if you're ever in Ohio and you're not in the Cleve, if you're on the other side over in Dayton, go to the Air Force Museum. You can make a whole afternoon of it. It's fucking great. Like I've gone there like constantly. Like when I was a kid, we used to go up to my grandparents' house every summer, and then we were there for like 2 months. We would go there like twice or 3 times, and now whenever I go there, I go, and I've seen everything in there like hundreds of times, and I'm just like, hey, it's that thing again, because it's just a bunch of airplanes. They're cool.
True. Plus, they might add a new one in there. Who knows?
Yeah, they add some new stuff from time to time.
Maybe they'll add a Halo Pelican to it, Jeff.
You're just waiting for that. Those are gliders. Those aren't even airplanes.
Yeah, they're not even airplanes.
And also, I don't know if there were helicopters before. But
I think there was.
Anyway, but yes, the fucking Pelican from Halo is also in here for some reason.
A weird fucking thing, but sure, I guess.
I mean,
the show can go like into orbit.
Yeah, it can apparently go high enough to get like out of the atmosphere. I'm confused though, because like when they showed that helicopter shot, there were giraffes, and I'm like,
I did see that. Yeah.
If you take a helicopter down to like the streets of New York, are there fucking Spider-Man there? Are there people down there?
I'd be cool with that. Let's see the Covenant attacks if you go too high.
Okay, Michael. I have to ask you. I know you have an Xbox Series X. I know you like Halo. Did you install Microsoft Flight Simulator to try to drive the Pelican?
No. That thing is massive.
Yeah?
I don't mean the Pelican. I mean the fucking size of the
Microsoft
the game? Simulator.
Yes.
I'm not taking up that much space.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You don't like to uninstall stuff.
I'm a fan of uninstalling things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, hey, it looks real good. Like, it's real good looking. If you want to fly Pelicans and places, you want to go to Mount Rushmore, good fucking luck with that.
We never found it. Some say we're still looking for it to this day.
Salty salt. From there, we went over to Blizzard. Blizzard did a whole actual Overwatch show.
Yeah.
We probably won't be getting to it, but they did show a kind of like teaser trailer for Overwatch 2. What are your feelings about Overwatch, Michael?
Never have I been so uninterested in a sequel to a game I really liked when it came out.
Right on.
Which is so weird to me, because I remember when Overwatch 1 came out, I'm like, I can't wait for this to just be the thing for a long time.
Yeah.
I can't wait for more of this. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting more, and I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
Well, you know, the problem is that they haven't shown, all they've shown, like, okay, so they've got the Junker Queen, which they showed
DPS
more
character.
But like the thing is that they've never shown like what the actual PvE side looks like, and I think it's because it just looks like the fucking stupid events that they've done. It's just a bunch of bots, right? And I mean, like, okay, technically, like the single player campaign for Call of Duty is just a bunch of bots that you're fighting, but then it's more like I wanted a more bespoke like action, like spectacle campaign, and not just bot matches with some extra rules to them.
Well, the other issue is the changes they've made to the gameplay balancing issues, or not issues, but balancing in general.
Yeah.
Where they took away a lot of people's crowd control stuff. You can only have one tank per fucking team.
They went from Overwatch 2 has taken 6v6 to 5v5.
Yeah, which is also fucking weird.
Well, and then like a lot of the people that they're adding are like hit scan weapons.
Yeah.
They're going back and they're taking out, like, I remember I was watching the actual Overwatch presentation, and one of the guys there was like, yeah, so we had this idea. We were like, what if for Orisa we just took away all of her shielding abilities? What would that look like? And it's like, well, that would look more like Valorant. Yeah. Because
kind of destroys the point.
If everything's hit scan and nobody's got crowd control, then you're dealing with like a skill-based scrum and less of this like kind of team compositional lineup like you used to have when Overwatch first launched.
I'm going to say, I guess his name's Cassidy now. He doesn't have his flashbang thing, which was one of the most fucking useful things about him. Yeah, because of the fact he has a 6-shooter, and I don't know what they replaced it with, but yeah, they've replaced everyone's crowd control with like nonsense, and it's kind of frustrating that that everything they've announced so far are more DPS characters too.
Yeah.
So there's not even more support characters to overcome some of the changes you've made.
It's kind of weird because, and people, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, but to me, it seems like when Overwatch launched, it was very attractive to a lot of people like you and me, like Amanda, because it was an online multiplayer shooter game that was kind of designed for more casual people to play.
Yeah, it felt like a beginner. You kind of like, everyone can play this, and you don't really have to take it that seriously.
And then, like, as it became popular, then they created Overwatch League, and then as Overwatch League was popular because so many people were playing the game and wanted to see it played professionally, but then they started catering to Overwatch League to the point where those changes bled back into the casual player game, to the point where it's like, oh, well, now it's just Call of Duty, right? Like, if you're not really good, you suck assholes and nobody wants to play with you.
Yeah, if you're not doing the meta,
right,
then no one wants anything to do with you.
Right. Like, I kind of, you know what I wish? You know what I really wish? And I really wish...
Even the events had a meta.
I wish that they would put out Overwatch Classic. I know the game is like 5 years old, but I wish they would put out 1.0 Overwatch, take out all the DLC characters, just have the original lineup with the original code of the way that the meta worked, because that shit was fun.
I have so many great memories of original Overwatch.
Yeah, and then like all the fucking super hardcore players can play Overwatch 2, and all of us babies can go play Overwatch 1 and just have a good time with our baby noises.
That's the issue with a lot of things. A lot of times when it's like, this is great because it's so beginner friendly, and then all of a sudden, since it's only if it's even slightly competitive,
yeah,
people lose their shit, and they try balancing for those people, and then it just fucks up everything.
Yep.
Luckily, the Halo Infinite guys haven't been listening to those guys.
Good.
So that's been a nice change of pace.
Early access is starting in October of this year. And I think that they say that Overwatch 2 is going to be free to play.
Yeah, it said free to play on it. During the trailer, at least,
which is kind of nuts. So.
They don't have any Battleborn to fuck over though.
That's right.
With their beta.
Well, I think they know which side their bread is buttered on. I think that they know that they can't get people to pay $60 for Overwatch 2.
Yeah, because it's like because the gag right now is it's not Overwatch 2, it's Overwatch the fucking expansion bag.
Right.
So yeah.
They showed a brief tease for Junker Queen. We may or may not get to Junker Queen. That might have to stay for next week. But they did put out the first cinematic in 4 fucking ever.
An actual cinematic, which is nice.
Yeah. Even though it's a little...
The issue is it's a to be continued cinematic. I don't know if they came out with the other parts of it.
The whole one came out, yesterday.
But I haven't seen it.
The thing is that Junker Queen spends the entire time talking to the camera, which is a little irritating. But
I hate those.
Yeah,
that fucking Hanzo one with it's just one of those, just makes me cry every fucking time.
Yeah.
It's so fucking perfect.
Amanda told me, she was talking to one of her coworkers about Overwatch. They were like, well, who was your main? And he was like, Hanzo. They're like, okay, well, who is your backup? They're like, Genji. And I was like, no, come on, no, don't do that to me.
That's pretty funny.
Fucking Hanzo main with a secondary Genji. Get the fuck out of here, you weeb.
I used Hanzo a lot when it first came out because I wanted to be I wanted to be the weird guy with the bow.
Yeah.
But then I gravitated towards Cassidy now, but back then he was McCree. And I only used him for the most part. And I also used Reinhardt. Those were my 2 guys.
I mean, I don't have a lot of room to talk because I was like a Soldier 76 main because I was
but
just
he's
like,
great.
In this world of weird dragon archers and fucking like knights in shining armor and like guys, people using fucking magical powers. It's just like this old burned out dad with a fucking gun.
The memes about him were so beautiful.
I love them.
About being a dad.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but love everything about that character.
I worked so hard the first summer where they had the Grillmaster 76 skin where he had the cargo shorts and like flip flops, like a Hawaiian shirt, like a bandolier,
and there was the spray for it too.
Yeah,
of him just like grilling in that outfit.
It was great.
And
I loved it.
People don't know this. He has a jacket for it too.
I do
downstairs somewhere.
My ex gave it to me for my birthday.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Oh my God, I was worried. We're going through this too fast. I need to stop worrying about that because we're not.
We talked a lot about Overwatch for a game we didn't care about.
Yep. From there, we got a trailer for what's it? Aura? Is that the name of this thing?
I thought it was Civilization again.
Yeah, it was called Aura History Untold, and it appears to be a Civilization game. Like, we already have Civ and we have Humankind, and now they're making another one. I mean, good for Civilization fans, right? They get something new.
Yeah,
so,
they love that shit.
Yeah.
They'll play that shit for years and years and years.
I don't have anything to say about that. I fucking hate Civilization games, so.
I do too. That's the thing.
I don't want to play the same game over and over again. From there, Pete Hines came out to try to get us to care about Elder Scrolls Online High Isle.
I'm sure Chris is excited. I
do not give any shits. It's already out.
Oh, it is.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. June 21st.
When that's Tuesday?
Yeah, this coming week, Tuesday. And then he came out to try to make us care about Fallout 76 because they're adding the pit, even though it doesn't appear to have anything to do with the pit from the original Fallout 3. So.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep.
We promise we won't fuck you over anymore.
They played Downtown by Cholula Clark or whatever. Cholula? No, that's hot sauce. Petula? Chalupa Clark. Yeah, that's
Chalupa
right.
Clark.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
From Chalupa Clark.
Chupacabra Clark.
Again, Fallout 76. None of us may play it. None of us may care, but I'm sure it's got a fan base.
There's dozens of them, Jeff.
And hey, man, if they're willing to spend the money, Bethesda will keep putting stupid shit out. Look how long Elder Scrolls Online is going on, and nobody except for Chris plays that game. Chris is the only person playing that game right now.
He's the only person I've met who's even started it.
I've tried it several times, and I'm just like, no, this is bad, and I don't like it. So
no, sir. No, I don't like it.
Pit's coming in September. Fuck you, Pete. They gave Pete the B-roll. They saved the good stuff for Todd at the end.
Todd Howard's like, fuck you, Pete. It's my shit.
Get out there and sling Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76.
No one's here for Pete Hines. They're here for Todd fucking Howard.
Yep. We got a very, very brief teaser for
strange trailer
for Arc 2. Well, you remember last year they had the full cinematic trailer with Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
and his
but that's what makes this teaser one so weird.
And now
he's just so quick.
He's riding a dinosaur. Hey, look, it's Vin Diesel on a dinosaur, everybody. Yep. Woo! I didn't play Arc 1, so I don't know. But hey, if Vin Diesel's in it, maybe if I can you be Vin Diesel's kid? Is there going to be like a Fallout 3 thing where
might be? Yeah, he's just
he dies
guy.
and he goes away.
Maybe he's Riddick's ancestor.
Yeah, Arc 2 is coming in 2023. Again, I wish I've never played, nor do I have very much interest in playing Arc.
No, I'm good too.
So, Scorn got another trailer.
I forgot about this game, to be honest.
Well, the last time we heard about it was when the developers talked about it, and then people complained about the delay, and then the developer got real salty on Twitter, and they had to apologize. This looks the same as it always has, a big gooey Geiger-ish mess. The developer, though, did say, this is not a shooter. This is like an adventure game.
That just happens to have a gun in it.
It has some shooting elements to it, but that it's not like a shooter. It's more of a...
It's more like a Fallout. Or not
trying to figure out...
If that makes sense.
Like a walking simulator with some shooting sections.
Yes. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I've always thought that the art style was solid. They did a really good job of recreating all the Geiger stuff.
They did a great job at it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. This one's a real question mark because it could be garbage or it could be really good.
Well, it could be like, what was that game? The Hell game. You know what I'm
Scorn? No, I know. Agony.
Agony.
Yeah.
Agony was a game that I'm like, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be garbage. So.
It was the succubus titties just made everybody, their eyes, their brains turned off.
Well, they turned off when they were like, by the way, AO.
Right.
So maybe more titties, and then everyone lost their shit.
Yep.
And then the game didn't turn out so great.
I mean, whereas with the Giger, I just paused this video and I can count 40 goddamn dicks on the screen right now.
Quite a few
There's
dicks.
some titties up there in the upper left hand corner. I don't know why.
Yeah.
There's just a lady with her boobs out on top of that building.
Reasons, Jeff.
Look at these. What are these? What are these? Just this is dicks just coming out of this building for some reason.
Those are just dildos, straight up.
It's either like dicks or knives or knife dicks or dick knives or vaginas.
That's what a xenomorph is, guys.
It's just a dick knife.
You look at a xenomorph and it's just a dick with acid blood.
They just turn the dick around and put jaws where the balls should be.
Basically,
So yeah, that's coming out in October. Cool. I mean, again, it's weird. I feel like in years past, we've used these things as a way to be like, I'm for it, I'm against it. But it's like, I mean, it's going to be on Game Pass. I'm going to fucking download it. Like,
it's very easy nowadays. That's the best thing about Xbox so far.
From there, we saw Flintlock, which I think is shaping up to look really good.
So far, yeah, actually.
This is the one that's like a third-person action game with this lady and her like magical like fox spirit. And the premise for this is that it's a world where it was kind of like a medieval world ruled over by these kind of big gods and magic, but then like they invented gunpowder, and so now people are trying to kind of overthrow / kill the gods with the gunpowder that they've got together. So
the gun is good.
Yes. No, wait, that's not what he says. No, yeah, that is what he says. That is what he says. The penis is evil. That's what it is.
And that's why you're a woman in this game.
Yeah.
That no one saw that coming.
I like the weird little triangle portals that your fox guy makes. I don't know. This is one of those ones where like this reminds me a lot of a Focus Interactive game, or that what's that Square Enix game they keep showing without showing actual gameplay of it, with the isekai. The lady gets isekai to the fantasy world.
They eventually showed gameplay for it. I don't remember the name of it. I just remember it's got that lady with the bug eyes.
In theory, this looks very good. Like in practice, I don't know. It could go either way. Like solid graphics, looks like it's got some kick-ass gameplay, some cool monsters, some magic powers. But like, you know what? You could make a trailer like this for Babylon's Fall. So
could you though? Because when we saw the trailers for Babylon Fall, we never thought it looked good.
Actually, that is true. I don't know. Yeah, this one could be good as long as the story is pretty good and that the action flows well. I could definitely see myself playing this game.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Actually,
kind of a Devil May Cry meets Assassin's Creed meets weird.
Well, it's a nice thing where it's like the pacing of the fighting isn't super fast, but it's not super slow either.
Yeah,
I actually really like that.
I guess the real question is like, I don't think it's going to be from what I'm seeing, but like, is it going to be a Soulsy game, or is it going to be more of like a Devil May Cry type of thing?
It's hard to tell so far.
Or God of War, maybe like a God of War 2018.
It's closer to that, I feel, than anything else.
Yeah,
but with some double jumps and stuff.
By the way, I should tell people right now, we're 45 minutes into this, but there's no Fable in this at all.
No, nothing Fable related.
And then there was another one too that I feel like people were asking about that isn't in here, but yeah, I'm definitely more interested in this. They showed an extended trailer for this at the PC gaming show, and it looked good there too. Nice. So cool, glad to see it.
A lot of world premieres.
World premiere. Yeah, did you want to play Minecraft as a weird RTS, Michael?
No, but I never wanted to. I don't really like playing RTSs to begin with.
Yeah, this was actually leaked by Jeff Gerstmann before
I heard about
it came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Minecraft RTS, but it's like a Brutal Legend RTS where you have a unit, and so then you like select units and tell them like from your perspective like what to do.
Okay.
And it's all in the Minecraft world. I mean, hey man, Minecraft Dungeons did apparently very well. I mean, they
did
put out
a really
like
good job at it.
6 DLCs for it or something like that. But
it made it much easier. It made it very beginner friendly.
Yeah.
To the point where Jeff broke it very fast.
Yes.
So this game's probably going to be similar in that way.
I just don't. Well, the thing for me is that I don't want to play a Brutal Legend style RTS.
I kind of don't want to do it in Brutal Legend. As much as I love Brutal Legend, I kind of didn't want to do it in that game either.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's some like kind of random base building, and it looks like you're kind of marshaling the forces of the overworld against like the piglins or whatever from the under the nether. But yeah, this is Minecraft Legends. It's coming out 2023. I'm real mixed on this because I did have a lot of fun with Minecraft adventures or whatever the
dungeons. I think
dungeons, yeah. But I'm not a big fan of what I'm seeing here. It just doesn't look as fun as that game did.
I think it's just like I said. I think it's just going to be a beginner-y type thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure people will like it, but it's not for me.
Console launch exclusive. This was, I keep forgetting the name of this fucking space tractor game. This is Lightyear Frontier: A Fresh Start. And this appears to be a kind of like a farming, crafting, like survival game.
Yeah.
With some kind of like space mech tractors, and you can play it multiplayer. This was teased, I believe, last year. I believe they showed like a cinematic for this last year.
So. If I remember correctly, at least.
I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of mechs. Sometimes I get into the survival games.
It looks like a game that could be kind of calming.
Yeah.
Depending.
It definitely seems like the sort of game that I would just repeat myself. I need to find a different set of words that I would definitely download on Game Pass and check out, right?
I'm probably not going to.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I'll say. It's more just because it doesn't feel like a game for me.
Of course you're not, Michael. You have too many Xbox 360 games to play.
It's true. I have to play Duke Nukem forever again.
No, we're already doing that, motherfucker. Goddamn.
Well, we're not doing its DLC, so that's what I have to do. No, I'm just
boo.
Not at the moment.
Boo earns. Yeah, it's coming spring of 2023. I don't know. I mean, like, solid, right? Solid art style. Looks fine. Looks like another survival game. Reminds me a little bit of Satisfactory. Remember that game?
I can see that.
On the Epic Game Store. Yeah. Or wasn't there a Love, Death, and Robots one that was about like space farmers in mech suits?
I think so.
Blasting off the hordes that were coming to get their space crops.
It's been a while since I've seen that series in general.
Yeah.
I haven't been keeping up with it the way everybody else has.
Let's see. After that, we got I forgot the name of this thing. Gunfire Reborn. They showed this last year, and I think this game just looks bad. Like, it doesn't look fun to me at all.
It's a little weird looking.
Like these little kind of chibi characters, and like 4-person action, and like kind of just generic. Like nothing about it says it seems interesting. I know that maybe be a little bit reductive, but like there's just nothing that's standing out from this between the art style and the action. It just looks very generic.
Because its art style isn't that interesting.
It looks like
I think that's the only thing they're selling it on, basically.
Yeah, it looks like something you'd see on Steam that people like, or that like like some streamer really likes it, and then their community gets really into it. But it definitely doesn't look like the sort of thing I'm interested in playing. It also, between it being a roguelike and focusing in the trailer on multiplayer, I get the impression that the story isn't going to just be like the best.
Probably doesn't really have one, to be honest.
Yeah,
looking at it.
Yeah, not interested in that, but it's coming out in October. Let's see. From there, we got one that I am definitely playing that I'm super excited about, which is The Last Case of Benedict Fox.
This looked really cool.
I am 100%. Well, first off, this guy walks into this house. It looks like Guybrush Threepwood, evil Guybrush Threepwood, but it's like a kind of 1940s like Cthulhu.
Yeah.
2D side-scrolling adventure, but also action game. About this guy going back to his father's house after his death, and there's like monsters and a mystery, and it's all kind of I don't know, what do you call it, Victorian, neo-Victorian kind of thing.
That'd be the best way of describing it. Yeah.
And the thing is that it looked like it was just going to be like an adventure game, but the more we saw of it, the more it was like, no, there's like action and platforming and all kinds of stuff going on.
It's like a Pitfall-y type idea.
Yeah. And like tentacles and shadows and monsters.
It's very fucking fun looking.
Yeah.
Really cool looking.
And the fact that it's 3D, but it's got this really solid art style to it.
Yeah.
Makes it look really fun.
It reminds me of something that could have been made in a PS1 time frame with almost a similar art style, but just not as detailed.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I feel like Hearts of Darkness, I think is one that I could like compare it to if I remember correctly.
This is like the exact. This to me is like the exact. Or this is what I was trying to get out when I was talking about that. What was that, gunfire thing or whatever, the animals?
Yeah,
where it was like just the art style. Like when you strip it down to the basics, this is just like what, a 2D side scroller adventure.
Yeah,
but like you look at the stuff and it's like the action looks cool, the style is cool, the kind of like story beats that they're showing are cool. This looks cooler to me than that other game did. So I'm 100% super excited to check this one out, because it also, I feel like what this would make a good, like if you're on the Xbox you play this, and if you're on the PS5 you play that what's that one with that they showed off in the first state of play for the PS5 with the guy going out on the monster adventures, little nightmares or
nightmares. Oh,
something,
not
something
nightmares.
like that.
It's little I can't remember the name of it off the top. Little Devils. It might be Little Devils.
I think that sounds about right.
Can't remember, but that's a game that looked also looked really fun.
Yeah,
with its art, and it had a very unique way of using its art style, which I thought was literally fun.
Unique presentation. It's coming out 2023. After that, we saw a trailer for As Dusk Falls.
I forgot about this.
Michael, I am like Over the years, I'll say my honest opinion about a thing, and people will get real mad at me, and so I'll spend time thinking about, like, was I in the wrong, Michael? Was I too harsh on that? Should I have been not as harsh on that? This game to me looks like a piece of shit. Like, it looks boring, and I hate the art style so very much.
Here's the thing I think is interesting about it.
Yeah.
This game has a co-op mode.
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that?
It's like an 8-person co-op mode.
Yeah, what the hell? What the hell?
How the fuck does that work?
So for anybody that hasn't seen this trailer, it's this weird thing where it's like
it's like a stop-motion comic almost.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
It's got some 3D elements that are moving around, but then it's got a lot of, like, the characters that are like a picture of a character that's had like an artsy filter run over them, and then they cross-fade to their next action, like a motion comic.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I hate motion comics, but then also it's like, it's so nebulous what the fuck is happening in here. Like, there's all this, it's like very realistic, but then there's all these like cryptic dialogue about just like, I thought I knew something, but I didn't know anything. Well, what will you do when your family knows nothing? I know, like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, the idea is it's a series of stories that, like, these characters are holding something back from their families in some kind of way.
Yeah.
That's why the thing is like, well, everyone has their secrets is kind of like the tagline a lot of it has, which sounds fine in like a single player type thing, which is why I'm confused as to how there is an 8-player co-op mode.
Well, it could just be like,
how does this work?
It could just be like Until Dawn or one of those ones where you can like pass the controller, or some people make different decisions or whatever. I don't know. This looks boring as hell to me. Like, the concept doesn't do anything for me. The art style to me is, as I said before, I find motion comic art style offensive, like, to look at. Like, it doesn't, I hate the crossfade bullshit. It doesn't look in any way, shape, or form naturalistic, and it just is distracting to me because the characters aren't stylized. They're just pictures of people with a filter run over them. So
yeah, for the most part,
like,
I don't think any of these guys were rendered. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Like, but the thing is that they've obviously done a lot of
8 players. Still doesn't make any sense to me.
They've done a lot of work, like animating like cars and trucks and smoke and hair and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think this looks terrible.
I think it's a streamer's dream.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing I can think about it on that.
I don't know, man.
I'm sure it'll be interesting enough, but I don't think it's not something I feel like I'm going to play.
Yeah.
I'll probably look up some of the story stuff on it just to find out. But
if it gets like really good reviews, or there's nothing else out, I'll Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. July 19th. Wait, that's next month.
So PC Game Pass.
Man, June always messes me up because it's always like, which JU month are we in right now? Is it the first one or the second one?
Curse you, Caesar. Curse you.
Naraka Bladepoint is coming to the Xbox. This is that weird battle royale. I think I saw this at E3 like 2 years ago.
Well, I think they've shown it at the PlayStation one a bunch of times, if I remember correctly.
I think that I first saw it on
it's a different one.
The PC gaming show a few years back.
I don't remember. This is one of those ones that I remember we saw. They spent a long time on it at one point, and I remember being like, "That's kind of neat." But it's funny because I used to talk about this idea. I remember we were playing some sort of battle royale because like this was the beginning of battle royales.
Yeah,
I kept saying there should be a battle royale that's just a bunch of melee fighting.
Right. And
then eventually somebody had the same idea but had money, and then went with it.
Yeah. So Naraka Bladepoint is I think it's either already out or it's coming out very soon for the Xbox.
I think so.
They say there's a campaign mode. I don't know, man. The rest of this month is pretty well booked. Like, did you know that Neon White came out today?
Did it really?
Yeah. And then everybody's like, it's fucking great. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even realize.
I had no
idea. So I don't know. Maybe at some point we'll have to take a look at this.
Got overshadowed by Ninja Turtles.
But yeah, June 23rd. Like what? Wednesday of next week. Like it's it's really soon. And apparently they've been showing extended because I didn't watch it, but there was also like a 3-hour extended Xbox gameplay thing that they did. And one of the things that they showed is apparently Naraka Bladepoint has that fucking NBA 2K shit where you can take a phone picture of your face and it'll interpolate it onto the character into the game.
That I kind of love.
Taking a picture of Phil Spencer's face and like putting him on onto a really Asian dude with a big stick.
That's
like,
so weird.
It was very bizarre.
Games do that. I had that for Rainbow Six Vegas too.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
I'm gonna put Jeff Puppet Face on somebody. And
you should.
It's gonna be a horror show.
It's gonna be amazing.
So yeah, Naraka Bladepoint, that's happening.
This I'm really interested in.
From here, yeah, we went over to Pentiment, which is I had no idea about this one.
I'd never heard of it until today. But it looks fucking great.
Obsidian is making this kind of adventure game that's all in the style of like an illuminated manuscript.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of takes place in like what? This is like
medieval,
Dark Ages, medieval, like
medieval
Europe.
Detective guy, and I'm like, that's fucking cool.
And you're like doing stuff and investigating stuff, and it's unclear exactly what's happening in this trailer, but the art style is very, very spot on. And then I trust Obsidian to make something interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's Obsidian to me is better than if it was just like some bullshit studio I'd never heard of before.
I'm like really excited at the idea of this game.
Yeah,
it's this weird fucking like detective medieval story thing, and like that's fucking cool.
There was that one. What was that one that
and
Chris and I played? The Procession to Cavalry. You remember that one that was like the paintings where there was like the Monty Python paintings thing?
I remember that one looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, this one I think hangs together a little better in the art style because they're literally using like the black outlines of the kind of illuminated manuscript kind of stuff.
It looks really fucking great.
It looks very well animated too, because they're obviously using the kind of 2D like cutout animation style, but they're doing it the way that you should do it, where you also put in some extra stuff to make it look right instead of just moving people around and then that's the end of it. So but yeah, this looks cool. I just watched like a 2-hour video essay about In the Name of the Rose, so I'm kind of in the mood for some Victorian puzzle solving. And that's coming out in November. So oh boy. Okay, we got to make an assessment here, Michael, because we're just about out of time for part one. It's flying right by. What there's too much. There's too much to power through.
There's too much, yes.
Let's power through a few anyway, because there's a few things here that I feel like are not exactly the
stuff we could say real fast.
Yeah.
Like Grounded's getting its full release finally.
Full release in September with the 1.0, which is
full story.
Cool, because Grounded's always been cool.
A lot of spiders.
I mean, there's like
all the spiders.
The big enemy.
The spider edition, they call it.
But now you've got like the ability to make all the stuff and to explore the entire yard. So good stuff. So Grounded. We got this very weird, I don't know, I'm curious to know what you thought about this one, Michael, about this trailer for Erebon Shadow Legacy.
Well, it reminded me a lot of like Assassin's Creed in the ways I liked. If that makes sense. Like,
but with robots.
Yeah, it's the more simple stuff that I liked from that series with some more magical power stuff.
It's kind of like magic versus robots. Like magical power lady takes on the robot apocalypse,
which is fascinating. And the way the presents the plot, like there's something sinister about why she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah.
So I'm interested.
I don't know. Yeah, I want to see more. This was very tantalizing. I'd like to see more. And then I don't know. Maybe we'll finish it up here. We got a big trailer where a necromancer finds a dead guy and takes his skull. I remember people were like Diablo, and I was like, what? And then because I totally forgot that last year they had the Demon Hunter cinematic, right, with the ears. Because I was like, this has to be like some kind of new necromancer game. They couldn't be spending like 5 fucking minutes just on like a reveal for Diablo 4's necromancer. But no, that's what happened.
Exactly what it was, yeah.
Diablo 4's last class is the necromancer.
Also, it's really funny that like she does all these necromancy things, and the trailer's like voiceover saying necromancer the first time as it's like a huge reveal.
Yeah.
It's just like we've been seeing them do necromancy for like 10 minutes, like 3 minutes before that point.
Yeah, man, because necromancers are all over this fucking franchise. Anyway, yeah, so that gives us our lineup for Diablo 4, which is barbarian, necromancer, sorceress, demon hunter, and druid, which is okay. It's a little vanilla, Diablo 2.
I'm sure they'll add other classes as it goes on.
Almost certainly.
Maybe they'll add phones to it. Who knows?
You guys have phones, right?
Yeah. The new phone ability. So you guys can definitely have phones now.
All right.
And buy Immortal for us.
We don't have a billion years, but they did show some gameplay. Michael, give me your overall excitement level for Diablo 4.
It looks like some Diablo.
Yeah,
that's really I don't know. I might play it. I don't know. I haven't really been into Diablo in quite some time.
Yeah,
mostly because it just hasn't really I haven't been wanting to gravitate towards it the way I used to.
But say if they're going to be all in bed with Microsoft, I guess if it comes out on the PC, it'll be on PC Game Pass. Maybe
that's my assumption on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks an awful lot like Diablo. It looks like they cranked. This is the first of two times I'll say this. Looks like they cranked the saturation way down.
They really did. It's really dark looking.
Like they said they weren't butthurt, but apparently they were butthurt by everybody that was like, Diablo 3 is just rainbow unicorns. I actually kind of like the coloring in Diablo 3. This looks really washed
It's very
out.
bland.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a Zack Snyder film. Is the best way of putting it.
And I'm still a little bit nebulous about how the open world concept works.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm still interested in how that works.
Is the open world randomized? Is it always the same map? Is it just the dungeons that are randomized? There already kind of was an open world in Diablo. You walked around in an area and you kill guys and you go into dungeons and kill guys. So what's the difference between this open world and technically what was happening in the previous Diablo games?
Hubs, I guess. I don't know. Even then, I don't think that was already a thing.
I mean, Diablo 2 had hubs. Diablo 3 had villages and
maybe more cows. Cow levels.
I don't know. I mean, hey man, looks good. And I feel like at this point in human history, it's it's not hard to make a Diablo. We've got a lot of
everyone's been making Diablo games for quite some time now.
I've been playing V Rising for a month right now, and that's kind of a Diablo game. So yeah, I don't know.
The Ultimate Alliance games are like Diablo games.
Maybe there's oh yeah, they did have this big fucking wackadoodle guy that showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to be able to play offline with every game is play with your friends. And I'm like, no,
never.
I don't want to play with my friends. Make it so that it's not, I can play with my friends. I only want to play it by myself. Or maybe people on the Discord server at patreon.com/RageSelect. But, so yeah, it was though kind of strange to see Overwatch and Diablo at the Microsoft show.
It's super weird,
especially considering we already have Obsidian and Blizzard at the or Obsidian and Bethesda pimping out their shit too. It's
that's the world we live in now, Jeff.
I guess it's good that Microsoft only has 3 franchises because they've got room to put everybody else's shit.
It's
in their
true.
Show.
This is the first time in a while that Xbox has had a thing, and they're like, "Hey, there are games here."
Yeah,
who could have saw such a thing?
Yeah, well, we finally bought enough studios to just release their games with our name on them.
Pretty much.
So
we didn't have any games, so we took other people so we could use their games.
Yep.
We hear you like these game studios, so we got these studios inside our studios.
Yep.
So we'll pimp the rides and stuff.
Yeah. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're gonna finish up Xbox. And we're going to try to get through Capcom and Devolver. And then depending on how much time we have left, we're going to have 3 parts today. Oh, my God.
Yep.
Why did I schedule this for Friday? I can't drink and watch anime until we finish talking about stupid E3.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll be back. Oh my God, Michael! So they didn't have my regular coffee at the Starbucks, so they had to give me the cold brew, which is double the caffeine. And I didn't have any coffee when I woke up this morning, so I'm just like,
oh jeez.
Yeah.
Maybe you should play some Ninja Turtles.
I'm about to start demanding TP for my bunghole at any moment now. But we don't have time for outdated jokes because Jeff watched.
It's not that outdated. They're making another thing.
A video essay about Beavis and Butthead yesterday. We're still with the Xbox and Bethesda show, but we're getting closer to the end. Where we last left off, we were at Diablo 4. We got a Sea of Thieves musical number that showed a bunch of new stuff in Sea of Thieves. I still don't really understand Sea of Thieves. It's fine.
I really don't get it either.
But
It's a social thing, I assume.
Yeah.
Like if I was in high school, I'm pretty sure I would have loved this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
that sounds weird, but that's when I had the peak online like friends that played all the time.
Bunch of new stuff is coming. A bunch of new cosmetics and stuff to buy and junk and stuff and things to do. And great. Okay, cool. From there, we got the announcement of Ravenlock, which is a new game from the people that made Echo Generation. Did you? I don't think you and I think Chris and I played Echo Generation.
I have no idea what that is.
It was like an 80s kid RPG where it was like you and your little sister go out on the street and fight rats and like a JRPG thing. But it was also all made of voxels like this is, where it's all little square voxels.
Oh, okay.
This appears to be an actual like kind of third-person action game where you play as a little girl that goes into like a fantasy world. It's kind of cool looking. Like there's a lot of weird, artsy, crazy looking shit.
Well, it's got like this very Alice in Wonderland inspired set of characters so far.
Yeah, but then every so often some fucking like there's this one monster that you see later on that looks like it's like I don't know, it's like some kind of like horrible persona monster. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Echo Generation was good and it was reviewed really well, so hopefully that'll be another good one. That's coming out next year. Let's see. After that, we got Cocoon, which is being made by some of the people that made Inside and Limbo.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of a weird, like top-down puzzle game where it seems like you're going inside of stuff. Is the big thing? Like, I don't know if you were like directly watching this, you might not have seen this, but
I did not. But the second you said Cocoon, my first thought was, when do you control Wilford Brimley?
Never. But you're like this little character, and you're like dragging these orbs around. But then it's like when you get the orbs in the right place, you like go into them into another thing. Ooh. So it's like you go kind of like inside of a sphere that has a whole other world in it, and you solve puzzles in there that then you take you to an even further inside sphere. Interesting concept. Definitely a puzzle game, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like definitely just a platforming puzzle game. But who knows, if it's like from the Limbo Inside guys, maybe it's all real fucked up and we're just not seeing the horribly gruesome deaths that happen in it.
Maybe there's some weird shit that'll happen if you fuck up one of the puzzles. So.
Yeah. Maybe at the end it turns out that when you get out of the cocoon, it turns out you're just inside that weird ball of flesh from the end of Inside that goes rolling around.
I thought you were going to say in the role of fat of Wilford Brimley.
No. You're the one with the Wilford Brimley on the brain.
Cocoon, man.
From there, we saw Wo Long, Fallen Destiny, which is a Team Ninja joint. I thought for a while that this was going to be Neo 3.
I did too. I thought it was Neo, and then it wasn't. And I was like, oh, well, this is something else entirely.
Yeah, it's like a traditional, it's like a third-person hack and slash, like traditional, what, is it China, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Chinese mythology with like demons and action, and yeah, I mean, it looks like it's probably going to be kind of third-person action game. Probably not quite as hard as Neo. I know very briefly at the end we see Lu Bu for a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some more information out about this. I mean, I could definitely say that it looks really good. Like I don't know if this is running on Unreal 5, but it looks like very nice detail and smoke and particle effects and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think the hair is the only thing that's off about it.
Yeah. Like this is the single player version of Naraka Bladepoint that I will actually play probably. But yeah, this was out of nowhere. I guess they do have Team Ninja, right?
That's true.
So
and Team Ninja can make whatever the fuck they want now.
Yep.
They got Microsoft money.
Yep.
That's the best thing about these people getting bought out by Microsoft is that Microsoft doesn't really care what you make. They're just like, how much money you need? I don't know. If I got off my shoe, I got $1 billion. Yeah.
If these companies were able to, if Microsoft was able to figure out how to make a whole bunch of really diverse and interesting games, they would have done it in the 5 years before they started buying companies. So
it was a good move on their part to just ask other people to make shit for them.
Yep. Let's see. After that, we saw, this is interesting. They were talking about kind of like the Eastern inspired, kind of Asian inspired, like features of that game. And they were like, yeah, games from Asia are real big. With that in mind, Persona 3, 4, and 5 are all coming to Xbox and Game Pass.
But only specific versions of them.
Yes. So Persona 3 is the...
It's the portable one.
Persona 3 Portable, which looks like it's just being kind of like up-resed from the PSP version.
Yeah, it's a much simpler version of Persona 3.
Yeah,
which is strange, but I get why they did what they did.
Wait, I thought Persona 3 Portable was like the expanded version. It was like the Royale version.
That's Persona 3 F something.
Oh,
I can't remember the name of it.
Oh boy, you know more about Persona than I do.
Well, here's the thing: Persona 3 is the one I started on.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the reason I know a lot about Persona 3. And I still remember to this day the reason I wanted to play it's because they're teenagers shooting themselves in the head.
That's right.
And my cousin was very edgy, and he's like, "I can't wait to play this." And so he bought it, and then I borrowed it from him because I didn't have money. And then he bought the...
You borrowed the UMD?
No, the original,
the
PS2 version. The original PS2 one. And then he bought the version, the actual, like... I guess what was it, Royale? I guess I don't remember the name of. Like again, I don't remember the name for the PS2 one. So he bought that one, and then I borrowed that one from him, and then got my friend hooked on Persona.
Good lord!
And then because I played that one in college.
Yeah.
And then I played 4 for a little bit, but I never finished 4. And then so 3 was my beginning like obsession.
So are
with
you
Persona.
Interested in actually playing this?
Not really, only because I know it's the portable one.
Oh, okay.
And I'd rather play like the original PS2 one.
Okay. Looks like they're also taking the PC version of Persona 4, which is good because for so long Persona 4 again was locked into the PSP for Golden.
And then eventually ended up on PC, right?
On PC, like a year or 2 years ago, something like that. They just
super
out of the blue.
random.
Actually, that was an E3 thing, right? It was at the PC gaming show. They announced it, and it was out today.
That's kind of random.
Was that last year?
No, it was the year before that.
The year before. Okay,
if I remember correctly. Yeah. It caught everyone to the fuck off guard.
Yeah, Persona 4 is great. I love Persona 4 because it's the only one I've actually finished. And then Persona 5 Royale, which this isn't a big deal. This thing obviously had like. A timed exclusive on PlayStation. So,
well, what's a big deal to me is that it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Persona 5 Normal was on PlayStation Plus.
That's true.
Which is why it's fascinating to me that they're the ones getting the fancier version for free.
Right. And they're starting with 5. So 5 is coming in, October?
It's probably because it's just easier to port.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Because it's already made for those consoles.
Just got to change some button scheme stuff in your tutorials and stuff.
Yeah, but that's cool. I mean, bunch of Persona. Hey, great. More games for people to play. I can only talk about Persona 4 Golden. I could say it was good, and I could say that I will never play it ever again because it's so fucking long.
It's really long.
They're all too long, and I can't play games that long. I lose interest.
That's the main thing that makes the portable ones a little better. At least the Persona 3 portable is. I think it is a shorter game.
Yeah,
because of it.
I know Royale, when they added Royale to 5, they also added 20 hours to the game.
They added
something.
a lot more. They added more characters and another 20 hours.
And crazy like that.
So the thing I will always remember about Persona 3 is one of the main bad guys looks like Jesus in jeans with a revolver.
Oh, there you go.
It makes me laugh every time I think about it.
Right on.
He is evil as fuck, but still.
Yeah,
it's a really good story.
That's a big deal. And then. And then they dragged fucking Hideo Kojima out to do. There's 4 people in the video game industry that could do this shit, where they just had him come out and be like, "I am making a game. Thank you very much. I will talk to you later." Okay, we already know this is probably that horror game that got leaked, right?
Oh, it absolutely
Overdose. And that's probably why they didn't want it leaked, because
they probably originally were going to announce it here, or what Jeff Keighley said he was.
The summer game show,
and then I guess he didn't have it finished,
right?
But Kojima is one of the only people in existence in all of the gaming community who can just be like, "Hi, I'm Hideo Kojima. I'm making a game." The end.
And everyone's like,
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. I'm excited by that.
Fuck yeah. I have not been disappointed by Hideo Kojima games. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I like him.
He's my kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I love him.
He made a game about walking around in New Zealand, and it was great. And I loved it. So,
also, his Twitter is amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's probably going to be that horror game. And I feel like, you know what? Just as a brief aside. We've got a little time here. I feel like we're getting horror back. Between the Capcom Resident Evil stuff and Callisto Protocol and a bunch of the stuff that was shown at Summer Game Fest that were horror games. We got Vampires in Redfall. I feel like we're Layers of Fear 2 was announced and all that stuff, or Layers of Fears or whatever.
Yeah,
like we got a lot of horror on the horizon.
It's really nice. Like there was such a drought of them.
Yeah,
for some time. I think Evil Within 2 was one of the only really big ones.
Yeah, and
that was good.
And then there was a time where after FNAF came out, where everything was like a FNAF.
Everything wanted to be FNAF real fucking badly. Because that guy made so much money on like the littlest amount of fucking work.
It's because the gaming industry did that dumb shit that they love to do, where they're just like, meh, nobody likes horror games anymore. Let's just stop making them because they don't make $1 billion. And then like an indie person makes a fucking horror game for like $60 over a weekend, and it's just like, oh, you made $40,000 off of that. And it's like
in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. So
he made like 6 games in like a year. It was fucking crazy.
I mean, I'll be honest, it was actually like 2 or 3 games a year for like 3 years straight.
Which is crazy in general.
Which is nuts. Which is absolutely nuts.
And it had a plot on all of them that was compelling enough to make people make YouTube videos about them.
Did it? Or did fucking Matt Pat just spend his time like stitching together a plot out of like some very random bullshit?
Well, it was all there. That's the thing. The issue is that like it turns out the more minutiae things was more batshit insane than we thought. After you told me there was a book that I had no idea existed.
Yep.
That had some insane shit in it.
Yep. And then finally, Starfield. So, Michael, here's the thing I'm going to say about Starfield.
What's that?
I feel like Bethesda showed this, and this could just be because I'm looking at Twitter, I'm looking at fucking hit piece or think piece articles and blah 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 blah. I feel like the internet is really poopy about Starfield. Like everybody's just like meh, 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 meh.
Well, they're very poopy about Starfield because for some reason they thought Bethesda wasn't going to make a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
Which is like, would you think that?
So, I mean, like, I feel like one of the very first things that I saw was this comparison where it was just like they put the trailer of this next to footage from No Man's Sky that had similar things happening. But it was like, okay, well, you're on a planet, you're shooting stuff, you're on a spaceship, you're shooting stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like...
It's a space game.
The thing is that if No Man's Sky had fucking Skyrim quests in it, I would actually play it. But I don't actually play it because it doesn't necessarily have
I don't even know if
plot.
It does. I don't know if it does now because that thing has been updated a million times. So who knows?
It's got big obelisks that are talking gibberish at you. So they showed Starfield, and surprise, 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 it looks like Skyrim or Fallout or
Skyrim,
both.
Fallout. The facial animations are very similar to that.
Outer Worlds, but serious with the contrast or with the saturation turned way the fuck down. Like
it's not as colorful, and there's not like a lot of jokes going on, kind of thing.
And it appears to be. So the thing is that I think I was a little unimpressed when they first showed it because I think this is a bad first impression what they actually captured here because they're on a really gray rocky planet shooting at really generic monsters that kind of look like Mirelurks or those crabs in Skyrim, but the space version.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think it's because this is the most finished thing they have.
Yeah.
And it's so bland, I feel like that's why it's finished.
Yes. So they showed that. They've got a UI that is just right out of a Fallout/Skyrim game. As they go on, they show more like kind of going into like this research station. They do show very briefly, and people got all weird about how like, oh, there's a vein of iron, and then the guy pulls out a laser, and he mines the iron with the laser. But like, oh, that's just No Man's Sky. It's like, well, bitch, that's just Minecraft. Like,
that's just
use a thing to get a resource for crafting is not exactly a thing No Man's Sky made up.
He was just going to get a pickaxe and or pull out a lightsaber or something? What did you think was going to happen?
Right. I mean, you could go back. You could say that that's just picking flowers in Skyrim, but with an extra step involved, right?
Yeah. And that's kind of just what space games are.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather do this than the fucking shit in Mass Effect where you just shoot the probes down
the probe thing is really kind of boring.
Yeah.
You get one giggle because you probed Uranus the one time. And I think even the game giggles when you do it.
Got him.
But it's just like the game is just like it's a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
the more you watch it, the more you're like, well, this is a Bethesda game in space.
So here's what I got a little ahead of myself. So here's what I want to say. If Bethesda has learned, if they took the lessons from Fallout 4, right? Because I feel like Fallout 4 had like 2 or 3 big lessons. One was, oh fuck, I just had it. One was like, put a mute button on Preston about the settlements getting attacked. We don't care about that.
We don't care about that.
The second one was, and they did do this. I'm skipping ahead a little bit. They did do this where it was like, bring back the more complicated dialogue trees.
Yes, because your character's silent again.
Yes. So bring back the more complicated dialogue trees. Don't make the settlements get all up in my asshole. In fact, later on in this trailer, they show building a settlement, and they kind of show it from the Fallout 4 perspective, but then they also show like a top-down perspective where you could just put buildings, and it's like, yes, that is what I want to do. I don't want to have to like position a wall whilst I'm on the ground looking at it.
Yeah,
like,
it was very strange what they did.
And then 3, if they just can take the, if they can just not. There's just this thing where they're like, do you remember the plot of Fallout 4? Like, I didn't actually mind the plot of Fallout 3, where it was like your fucking dad is trying to get the water, and it's like, okay, and then you just Shenmued out and did a million other things on the way to getting the water done.
Part,
But like in Fallout 4, it was just like, somebody took my baby, and then it's like, here's a weird guy that runs a place that's looking for you, and everybody in the world was like, that's the baby.
That's the baby.
That's the baby.
It's obvious.
That's little Sean. He's all grown up. What? That was another 50 hours before like we actually figure this out.
My favorite Let's Play is they accidentally kill them before the reveal, because you're not supposed to be able to. But the second the door opened, they use this like cinder block fist thing and punched them right in the face and killed them instantly. And then they didn't understand why they couldn't take the robot one with them, because they thought that was their son. So, it was really funny.
So if they learned those lessons and they're making a single player RPG that is not Fallout 76, right? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with space Fallout if they fix the shit from Fallout 4.
I'm okay with space Fallout if it's as fun as everybody remembered 3 in Vegas was, or New Vegas was.
Yeah.
Like, those games people won't shut up about forever and ever. And that's because they had a lot of fun elements in them. And they looks like they've taken some of that stuff to heart. Yeah. But it all depends on how the game runs when it comes out, I think, because the internet forgets that Bethesda is going to Bethesda. Sure. So I'm pretty sure people are going to shit on it when it first comes out, because there's going to be like a million bugs, of course. Sure. But I feel like the thing about Skyrim was that everybody loved everything else going on in it enough to get past that stuff. And I have a feeling if this game has that same thing, people are going to be fine with it. If they've tapped into if they're doing the thing that they're generally good at, which is a big ass open world, or I guess in this case open universe, a big ass open universe full of different stuff to find and little like interesting subquests and characters. Great. I'll play that. Like also, it's got a double barrel shotgun, space double barreled shotgun, a space one. The barrels are square, Michael. That's because it's space. Because it's space-tastic. I can't wait for the mods. It is incredibly desaturated, but in a lot of ways, I feel like that is what differentiates it from like the Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds and that's probably why they did it. 100%. Trover or no? What's the No. What's the one we were just talking about where it's like you're in space, right? It was super bright, colorful. The one at the beginning, where High on Life. High on Life. There's been a lot of very color. No Man's Sky is very colorful, right? No Man's Sky is super colorful. So like this is a little bit more grounded and a little bit more dirty, and it's not exactly like it's a little desaturated, but it's not like there's no color. It's just very muted. But then, they showed this other, like that first area didn't make a great impression. No, it didn't. Because they show this city, and it's got all this color, and like there's people, and it's clean, and it's not just like... Well, it just shows that color, like planets are probably going to be a lot different looking in their color schemes. Yeah. Because Mars, everyone knows Mars is red, but everyone knows that all the other planets aren't fucking bright ass red. Yeah. So that's what they're probably doing with it. They show there's an overarching story. There's some kind of like
there's ancient technologies that are being unearthed, and like
it's very
you find
Mass Effect-y and that sort of idea.
Yeah,
that's the only issue I have with that.
Man, this part where they're talking to people in the Capitol, I'm like, man, those are some Fallout ass faces these people have.
Oh, absolutely. and the way they start talking, yeah,
the way the person starts talking to you and their face comes right into the center of the screen, and it's just like, okay, cool. I'm glad to see that we're still doing that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing people are complaining about. They're like, I was expecting more from their facial features. I'm like, I wasn't.
Really?
I don't know why you guys thought they would all of a sudden do a 180 and like make these super detailed faces.
Yeah,
or not even faces, these super detailed ways of them talking.
They look good enough. Like,
yeah, they look like up-resed of what they're known for.
Yeah,
it's kind of their charm is the thing. So. Yeah. I'm not going to be upset about that.
Oh, I just realized that there was that shop that we're just watching this trailer for this. There's a shop called Shepherd's.
Oh, yeah.
Shepherd's.
It's his favorite fucking place on the Citadel.
But yeah, it looks like there's a lot of different worlds. And then the thing is that they kind of go over a bunch of the story stuff, and then they show...
Space William Shakespeare.
You can make bases,
yes.
You know? And you can customize your ship. Like, that's the other really weird thing, though, to me, Michael, is that when they show the ship customization part. Oh my God, there's so much in this trailer.
It's a long set of stuff.
When they show the character customizer, I do like. Did you see this? Michael?
I did.
Where one of the things that you could choose as a starting trait is starter home, where you have a house but you owe 50,000 credits to the bank.
Yep. It's like Animal Crossing.
Tom Nook bullshit.
It's going to break my legs, Jeff.
But, you know, it looks like they even said they took... Okay, sorry, we'll come back to the ship in a minute because we're just going to go in chronological order.
Yeah.
There's weapon customization and crafting, obviously. Yeah. I mean, they took that. It looks like they took the skill system from Fallout 4 and kind of like... combine it with, from what they were saying, it sounded a little bit like Elder Scrolls 4, where it's like you unlock a thing and then you level that thing up by doing specific challenges.
I can see that.
Because that was like Elder Scrolls...
Skyrim did that too as well.
4?
I think that's what started it, was 4.
Oblivion did that, where it was like, because I remember Oblivion was the one where if you went in the starting area and you just like hid behind this pillar that was supposed to teach you how stealth works, and then you just like minimize the game and come back a day later, your stealth would be 100.
Yeah,
because the game just kept giving you stealth points for doing that. You got to be careful with a system like that, but it can also be really fun if it works right.
Yeah, because once people figure out how to break it, you're gonna get some fun shit.
Yeah. And then, yeah, you can build settlements. The one thing that was really weird to me was they were showing the spaceship customization. And here's a very weird thing to me, Michael. They show the outside, and they show how you can change the different like modules and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, in that opening area, there was the player spaceship, and it was white in a big gray dusty world. There was a spaceship landed outside of the base that was a gray base and a white spaceship that was dusty. And then there was another spaceship that they were shooting pirates from at the end that was like a gray spaceship. They show in this tutorial that you can make your spaceship like fucking yellow. Like, you could change
everything,
the color of your spaceship, and I'm just like, why didn't they make any of the spaceships a different color? Because that really would have livened up that opening section.
I think it just comes down to the fact it's just not finished.
Yeah,
they have it probably fixed where it's like you can do it here, but the second you do it outside, you take it outside, it just breaks the fucking
frame rate drops and the game breaks.
So I guarantee you that's what's going on over there currently.
But yeah, also you can fly the spaceship around.
Yeah,
you can shoot other spaceships. There was a point, I paused it, where they showed your ship docked to another ship, and one of the options was board. So I'm assuming that you can disable a ship's engines, board it, kill all them pirates, loot it, take your ship back. And that is what Jeff likes, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, I am so into that. They did say, like... Again, this is one of those things that's really weird to me, where I feel like I saw this shit on Twitter like it was a big get, where they were like, Todd Howard said you can't even fly the ship from space down to the planet. And I'm like, have you played No Man's Sky? Because that's a chore.
It's a pain in the ass.
Like, flying the ship down to the planet is like work. Like, shooting ships in orbit is fun.
Yeah.
Like, landing, finding a place to land is work.
People's ideas of next gen has really inflated their ideas of what can be done and fun.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
This looks great to me. I mean, I'll be honest. Like,
I think it looks fine.
Watching the trailer again, hey man, I'm not the biggest post-apocalyptic fan, I'm not the biggest medieval fan, but I love me some fucking space.
Yeah.
And this just looks like Skyrim in space, and I'm like, all right, cool, good, give it to me.
Some people are like, it looks kind of slow. I'm like, I think it looks fine.
Looks fine to me.
It looks just fine.
Also,
you're in space. It's not everything is like a fucking X-wing.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe if you get bigger engines, then it's faster. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
what the fuck ever. Yeah, this looks real good to me. I'm 100% on board. I like the aesthetic. I think it looks different than a lot of the futuristic stuff because it's kind of, what are they calling it? Like NASA punk? Like if you took like NASA stuff and then kind of extended it a little bit further into the future where you've got stuff that is very like utilitarian and not like super cool.
Yeah. I can see that.
But yeah, I'm real on board. Oh, they also said, okay, yeah, that was the last thing I want to talk about. They said there were like 1,000 different planets to explore.
Yes.
And motherfuckers, we know that there's going to be a bunch that don't have anything on them and are empty. Like not all 1,000 planets are going to have a really memorable side quest with a guy on it.
One of them needs to have a yelling sun, though.
Yes. What about the on the Cobb planet?
Yes, there needs to be an on the Cobb planet. If you have an on the Cobb planet, Starfield, I will make my settlement there, and it will be great.
But you know what? Like, that's fine because here's the thing. Here's the thing. I feel like people are like, well, why would you even want to have 1,000 planets if there wasn't like a thing to do on every planet? And I'm just like, bitch, I don't want a thing to do on every planet.
Yeah, you don't really need to.
Like, I want to go between the like settled areas of the galaxy and do quests that have meaning, not just like, hey, can you go to Zargblon 5 and pick up 18 Xenonites for me from the mining station there? Like, dude, no. Like, there could be a bunch of planets that are empty, and that's cool with me. It does, though, make me wonder whether the thing that they are holding back on this is that it does have multiplayer from 76, and it's like they took their lumps, and it's like, or maybe even just limited, like, you know how there were mods where you could get like 4 people together to play Skyrim together.
I can see that being a thing
because the ships have a big, like, they've got all these crew compartments, and with the stuff you could definitely
because the ships are massive. There's no way it's just you the whole time.
Between the so part of me wonders whether that's going to be a secret thing that we're going to find out about later on.
Who knows? But we're still very early on. Like, this is the most we've seen.
Yeah,
but this is still really early on for a Bethesda game.
They really should have shown this shit like 6 or 8 months ago instead of having all those dumb circle jerk round tables where they're just like, the music's incredible, look at 4 seconds of a robot. Like,
God, yeah, that was annoying. Super annoying.
Because I'm 100% down to play this. Looks like No Man's Sky but with a gritty space plot, and I'm in for that. Like,
like I said, Bethesda, people have bought in Skyrim 1,000 times.
Yep.
If it's anywhere near as much as people like that series, it'll do just fine.
Yep. As long as it runs well, I'm all down.
And if it doesn't, they're going to mod it to run well and add Macho Man Randy Savage to it.
Well, if it doesn't run well in 5 years, PC gaming will be so good that it'll run like a dream. Like Fallout 3 has no load times for me, no quick travel times for me. Skyrim quick travels in an instant. You could break that game so hard if you don't have to actually worry about quick travel times. So that was the Xbox and Bethesda thing.
All 12 months, within 12 months.
Yep, all within 12 months. Good, decent showing. I mean, not everything was like fucking jerking me off, but like, a lot of it was.
Not everything was Vin Diesel riding a dinosaur.
Right. But, hey, that's a lot of games for Microsoft, right?
Yeah, it's nice to watch one of these and be like, hey, Xbox has some stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago, Microsoft wouldn't have this much shit in a conference.
4 or 5 or 7 years ago, they were like, hey, do you like cable television?
I mean, what?
We made your Xbox have cable capabilities.
Was it 4 years ago where they were trying to where they were just like Phantom Dust and everybody, and like 4 people were like, yeah! And the rest of us were like, the what?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck are you people talking about?
What the fuck?
Again, I know that probably wasn't 7 years ago. The cable box thing is probably much longer, but that's how fucking annoying Xbox's stuff was for a while.
But yeah, there's plenty in here that I would like to play. And with that, we're going to move on. Michael, I'm going to give you the choice. Do you want to do Devolver or do you want to do Capcom?
Let's do Capcom because that's a quick one.
Okay. Capcom it is. So Capcom had their showcase. And it's pretty straightforward.
It's really straightforward.
We start with Monster Hunter Sunbreak. The kind of the big thing with this was that they put out a demo.
Yeah, they put a demo for both PC and Switch.
Yep.
To let you fight some of the bigger monsters right away, which I thought was pretty fun.
They announced some monsters.
Some returning monsters. One of the biggest is the flagship from Monster Hunter 4, the Gormagala, whose armor people loved making because it made them look like Batman.
Oh, that's the one you keep talking about.
Yeah, that was the one that was.
This guy.
Yeah.
The big edgelord monster from Monster Hunter.
And his he had a very specific status effect that was only to him at the time. I doubt that's still a thing anymore.
Oh fuck! I only have 2 weeks.
But he was a really cool monster. There was a white version of him eventually. That was like the final version of him.
Okay.
So I'm pretty excited because I liked the Gormagala was a really cool monster.
They've got they have a lot. I mean, Monster Hunter Rise. I'm glad that Monster Hunter Rise seems like it's successful, and I'm really glad that they're adding the jungle biome, new biome for Sunbreak. And it looks like they're just, I feel like Capcom has kind of learned what they need to do, which is make really good versions of their franchises that people love, and then support the shit out of them. Just put out like 1 million DLCs and like extra contents, and everybody will just be like, fuck yeah, I'll take my money, Capcom. So
yeah, it helps that Monster Hunter's been pretty good about that for a long time. But it used to be a lot freer, somewhat, but not entirely, because they used to have to make us. They used to do the Super Street Fighter thing with Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
where you bought the original Monster Hunter and then you had to buy the other version of it.
Yeah,
so that's all this is really.
In Monster Hunter Rise, I finally figured out how to just search for people online playing the missions that I still need to do. So
did you not know you could do that?
Well, I knew I could do it, but I just wasn't doing it. But now that I'm at the hardest missions, it's like I just want to search for him and come in when the guy's already 70% dead, and then I can just be like, "Yeah, we did it, everybody! Woo!"
Oh, you're that guy.
Hey man, it's not my fault. If they came in at minute 1, I would have played from minute 1.
That's true.
It's a big crab motherfuckers in here.
Yeah, that crab dude was a pain in my ass for a long time. But he's like a hermit crab with a triceratops sort of skull head.
I like the way that Monster Hunter is just like, what if 2 different animals were one big animal? That's pretty kind much, of every animal. It's just like, what if a monkey was also a bat? And it's like, no.
What if a monkey threw shit at you? That's another monster, but it's not in this game.
Yeah,
that was a whole thing. That was a fucking weird time.
The one in this one throws fruit at you,
which it's not as disgusting.
Yep. So yeah, there's a demo for that, and the thing is, it's not worth wasting a lot of time on this because 1, they've already shown the shit out of it, and 2, it's out in like a week.
It's out pretty soon.
Like it's out in a week,
and the demo's been out for a few days at this point now.
Yeah. So
if you want to try Monster Hunter, this is a good way of trying it because it has a lot of big monsters and a lot more stuff in it even than Rise started with.
I highly recommend Monster Hunter Rise. It was a real fun time, and it's pretty easy to get into. And because of it's similar to like a Souls type game, it's like there's so many people that are rabid fans of this franchise that if you don't know how to do something, all you have to do is just search for it on the internet, and people are like, all right, dub, listen up. Yeah. Here's what you need to do. Get this armor, equip this charm, and fucking run around backwards and fart in this guy's direction, and then he'll drop his wing, and you could hit him with a bunch of berries, and then he'll die, and it's like, okay. And you just do that, and then you're
basically done. You throw the berries, he gains dysentery, and then he dies.
Yep.
The end.
Yep.
And then maybe you'll get a gem. And then you have to do that 20 times to maybe get a gem. 2 times, though.
I finally got to that part of Monster Hunter.
I've gotten to the point of the I forget the name of it. We used to make fun of it's a running gag in the Monster Hunter community.
Yeah,
where it's the want of something, and the game realizes it wants it, and then it just keeps it from you.
They also talked about some additional updates that are happening. They're putting in a new arena, which is like these like ruins that's going to be coming in along with this. What is this like an Omega version of?
Yeah, he's like I forget the name.
Lucent.
The Lucent Nargacuga, which is something that existed before this point.
Yes,
but I forget the name of it. There's a specific name. It's like variant, but it's a subspecies. Subspecies is the name of it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a subspecies of the Nargacuga.
So that's coming in August, and then in the fall there's more. I mean, the thing is they just keep adding shit, right? They just keep adding new hunts and new things, and
like they're gonna keep adding stuff forever. I don't know if there'll be like a lot of name brand stuff that they add the way they did in World.
Yeah.
Like World got like a Dante outfit, a Ryu outfit, like all kinds of weird shit like that. So I don't know if they'll do the same thing to Rise. Wait, did Rise get the Resident Evil one, or was that one World?
That was World.
Okay.
That was World. Rise didn't get any of that stuff.
I was trying to remember if that was it, because I think it was around the same time. No, that was Generations.
Like they even show in here, it's like the pre-order bonus for Sunbreak are a Palico and Palamute skin that make them look like a regular dog and a regular cat.
Yeah,
like that's the level that we're doing. And then
that's
like
the thing.
Then there's also like the other pre-order thing that makes everybody look like a Dracula. Everybody looks like a fucking Dracula for some reason, but
because of the monster, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah, loyal dog costume. Makes your dog look like a dog.
It's that meme dog, the Shiba dog or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. We got some Street Fighter 6. This is just the same trailers before, right?
Yeah, for the most part they showed a lot of the same stuff outside of I think they might have been some in-depth like separate thing for it.
Yeah.
That they talked about, but for the most part it's just the same trailer.
It was just the same trailer they showed before. They showed more. They showed the Guile on the summer gaming
the Summer Game Fest
thing. They didn't even show that here. Capcom Fighting Collection, which I believe we already knew about. This is the one that has all the Darkstalkers.
Yeah, it has all the Darkstalkers. It's got Red Earth, which was only a Japanese fighting game for a while. As well as just a lot of more Street Fighter again.
Yeah, Cyberbots.
And Puzzle Fighter, which is pretty fun.
Puzzle Fighter. Yep. So that's coming out the end of this month. That's coming out before the Monster Hunter thing comes out. So
I'm pretty excited. I hope people buy it so maybe they'll see there's interest in Darkstalkers.
Let's see. We also got the Capcom Arcade Stadium 2, which I believe you and I talked about last week from Summer Game Fest, which is just another whole chunk of arcade games from Capcom.
I think Street Fighter 2 is still free up to a certain point.
For this one, I thought they said that it was you get like Sun 2 or something free if you download because you download it and then you get you can get the rest as like a DLC. So yeah, you get Sun for free if you download this collection. And then the rest of them are kind of add-on.
Well, I remember when they announced it, they mentioned something about Street Fighter 2 originally. But I don't know if it's in this. I think it's in the other one.
I think it was the first one.
Yeah, I think there's as a celebration they did that or something like that.
Yeah,
because it's the 35th anniversary of Street Fighter.
Yep.
Currently.
So yeah, bunch of stuff. Wait, is that it's Captain Commando right there? This is a baby in a mech suit.
Oh yeah.
So there's Captain Commando, Bionic Commando.
Oh,
anyway,
there it is, the Street Fighter 2 thing.
Oh yeah,
but because the Capcom Arcade Studio 2 one comes with you can get Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Right.
Never the PSP one, which is the one that has all the fucking characters in.
Let's see. From there, we saw more Exoprimal.
And some more story stuff to it too, actually.
Yeah, apparently like some giant fucking computer guy is like trapped you in this world and is making you do missions to perfect like the suit that he wants to have done. And so they showed some new suits. They showed a sniper suit and a kind of looks like a DPS suit, I believe. They showed a few different like mission types. It's kind of weird because remember how the first trailer for this had a lot of story in it? Like had a bunch of characters like talking to each other, and then this one was like just this big robot head talking. Like if they had showed this first, I don't think I would have been nearly as interested in this game as I actually am.
Well, it shows off how much more it's like EDF, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah,
which you're either going to love or you're going to hate.
It's just Anthem with dinosaurs. It's just 4-player. I mean, it's like 4-player mech suits.
Well, with the mech suit part of it, yeah, it is. It is somebody looked at Anthem and was like, "What if we made put dinosaurs in this?"
I like the fact. I think there was a point where they actually said they'd come out and say, "This is not related to Dino Crisis in any way." And
that was on them. Mm-hmm. That was on them for doing that.
You put a red-haired lady in the trailer. That's on you, Capcom.
Yeah, you should have seen that shit coming. Fucking idiots.
This looks, I don't know. I mean, this could be fun.
It looks like it could be a fun time.
I'm not the biggest fan of just like defend against the hordes as a gameplay type.
It depends on why I'm doing it. And by that, I mean like if I'm just hanging out with some friends or something.
Yeah.
Because I used to do that all the time when I played Halo Reach's, I think it was called Firefight, which was like their horde mode. We used to do that all the fucking time and just talk to each other as we did that. Like we used it as a hangout more than anything else.
Yeah,
and it's just something to do at the same time.
I mean, I guess I'm saying there's not a lot I feel like to say about this because it just is like a third person Anthem with dinosaurs.
Well, it's just to me, all I can say about it is that it looks like it's kind of cool how many dinosaurs and stuff they can put on the screen.
That's true.
Like there was that tornado of, I guess, pterodactyls or some shit at one point. That airplane coming down covered in dinosaurs. I'm like, that looks really cool. So, like, it looks like it could be a fun time, but who knows?
I want to see more of the story. Just like you said, to get me like involved with. Do I have an emotional connection to this, or is it just going through the motions so you can have something with your friends to play? So,
exactly. And that could go either way.
Yeah. Let's see. After that, oh my God, they're talking so much about it.
They talked about it for a while.
Network test. They teased Dragon's Dogma 10th anniversary. They talked about Dragon's Dogma. They talked about the Netflix show, and then they did a. We're going to have more to announce in an upcoming live stream. And Michael, that live stream was today.
Yeah, I saw on my Facebook that they announced they are going to make another one.
And they're making a sequel to Dragon's Dogma. So there's a little bonus news for you.
Yeah, people were very excited. That people really like Dragon's Dogma a lot.
I thought Dragon's Dogma was pretty good. I think that when it came out at a time when it was like, I had a friend that was really into it. And I think it was because he had played like Dark Souls so many times, was just looking for anything like that. And Dragon's Dogma had enough kind of like of the control DNA in common with Dark Souls.
Well, that's why a lot of people I knew when it came out just called it single-player Monster Hunter.
Right.
Because that's kind of what it felt like for a lot of people.
Because it also had that kind of like Breath of the Wild climb on anything thing with the giant enemies and then fly away and stuff. It's a good game. Like, I'm not shitting on Dragon's Dogma.
No, not at all. People fucking adored that fucking thing, and for good reason.
It is a little long in the tooth. I did watch a little bit of the presentation where they announced the second one, and they showed a lot of footage of the first one, and it's like, yeah, that game is definitely old.
Yeah, it's a
like
really old
definitely
game.
10 years old.
Which is why it was surprising it took so long to make another one.
Well, Capcom lost their mind 10 years ago, and they just did nothing for a while but put out remasters for like 5 years. It was nothing but remasters.
It didn't help that they didn't have a lot of money at the time.
Yeah.
The Monster Hunter was the only thing making the money at that point.
Yep. All right, and then from there, after a year of waiting, we finally found out about Resident Evil. Last year, they fucking slapped that slapdash
so fast.
There's gonna be DLC,
and then they ran.
We'll tell you someday. Bye bye.
Such a terrible fucking presentation.
You know what I think is
with a lot of stuff for that too.
You know what's really interesting about this?
What's that?
Okay, I actually have to say this out loud. Like the concept of the DLC is a spoiler for the end of Resident Evil Village.
It's the fucking ending of Resident Evil Village.
So if you don't want to know about the ending of Resident Evil Village, maybe skip forward a little bit and go play Resident Evil Village. It's great.
It's been out for a couple of years now.
A year?
A year?
It's
been a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it came out early.
No, it was a year.
Last year.
It was a year, yeah.
And then they announced, because that was why they slapped together the, like, we're going to make DLC, because they didn't expect it to do as well as it did.
Super fucking well.
And then Vampire Mommy made everybody buy it, even though she's not in that game for a long time.
That was a stroke of genius, by the way. Only, like, showing you essentially the first part of the game, as it turned out. And people were like, she's the whole thing. No, not even fucking close.
Nope.
Holy shit.
So anyway, if you don't want to hear about it, skip forward. You've been warned. The DLC the DLC is going to be about Rose. And it's weird because the trailer for this makes it look like Rose is going back to the village. But what it actually is Rose psychically diving into the metamycete to like go into this weird psychic version of the village, where there's like a kind of an unseen force that's guiding her, and then like the Duke is there, but he's like got a mask on and he's evil.
Yeah, which is fascinating to me.
And there's like these weird like blood monsters that keep coming out of the ground. So it definitely looks like it's got some stupid weird shit, which I like, because my favorite DLC for Resident Evil is the one from 7 where you play as the guy's brother and punch the zombies.
That's the best thing about Resident Evil 7 is that like the most intricate and actual like sequel part of that game is a hillbilly who punches everything to death.
He's like grubs and shit.
And the fucking well, not twist, but one of the greatest climaxes of it is that you find bionic ass punching weapons.
Umbrella left behind fucking bionic punching gloves, and so you punch to what Jack comes back from the dead.
Yeah.
He prostitutes, and then you're as his brother, you got to go back there and fucking get the beat down on him.
You're gonna teach him a lesson by punching him to death.
That's right.
It's amazing.
It's great. So yeah, there's like a doppelganger of Rose in here, which I didn't understand at first until I found out this was a whole psychic thing.
Well, I can't even say because of the fucking spoilers of 8.
Yeah, and so that's kind of it. Like, there's not a lot much more than that. I mean,
they announced the thing where because there's a mercenaries mode.
Oh yeah, no, I was talking about for the DLC.
For the DLC thing.
There's not much more to say about it than that it's coming out later this year. But then they're kind of doing like a Resident Evil Village 2.0 because they're adding content to mercenaries. Everybody's favorite Chonky Chonk.
Yeah,
Chris Redfield is coming back. He's getting chonkier.
He's getting back to his punching boulders face.
Remember? Okay, look at his face. Remember when we saw him at the end of Resident Evil 7? He looked like a regular person.
Yeah.
And then, like in Resident Evil 8, his face was a bit of a chonker, but it looks like it's even wider now than it was before.
Well, he looks a lot more like what I remember him looking like in 6.
Yeah.
Like a guy who was overly fucking muscular.
Yeah.
And 5, I guess, as well. Who could punch boulders?
Punch a boulder in the middle of a volcano.
Exactly. He's back to what I love.
He's back up to fighting strength.
He's back up to crazy Chris.
So in Mercenaries you get to play as Chris. Also, Carl Heisenberg. Oh my God, everybody, sit down. What? Carl Heisenberg, my favorite character.
Yeah, he's the best or whatever.
But you can also play as Lady Dimitrescu.
Yeah, and she has such a tall camera angle.
She's so tall. Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying that she had a tall camera angle.
Oh, I don't know if you saw some of the footage. I saw some extended footage where she's so tall that when you're in, you literally have to hit the crouch button to go through doors.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, like the doors are like up to her boobs, and so you have to literally crouch to get through doors.
I kind of love that.
Just like when she was in the game. And then third person mode.
This is amazing to me.
It's a little weird that they didn't backfill this also into 7, but yeah, Ethan Winter's third person mode to make it basically just an old Resident Evil game.
Well, it makes sense as to why it's not in 7 because they never made a model for him in 7.
For Ethan? Well, they can just put this back in 7. I mean, but anyway.
Well, they would have to change his outfit. I think it's probably just harder for them.
It's harder to get his hand chopped up.
I love it though because it gives you like a whole other reason to play the game because there's new animations for his like getting attacked and healing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, even like they even show getting grappled by one of the daughters. And you could see it from the outside instead of just having her right up in your face and stuff. So
it's really cool. I may end up playing this game again purely for that reason.
It was a real fun game. It's a real fun game.
Not as scary as 7 though. That's my only issue with it.
Yeah,
7 scared the fucking shit out of me.
7, the first like third of 7 is just kind of getting thrown around and beat up.
Yeah, and just Jack doing shit that you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, just breaking through the. Yeah, I don't know if there's been anything in a Resident Evil game that's quite as good as that. As that scene when you're in the garage and he kills the cop and then you get the whole thing with the car.
Yeah.
And then you hit him and then he's like, want to see something cool? And he picks up the gun and fucking shoots himself in the head. And you're just like, what just happened?
Yeah, you're like, what the absolute fuck is going on? And then fucking chainsaw fights. It's fucking great, guys. 7 is great. If you never played 7, you should play 7 right now.
7's great. I love it. I also love the DLC. Escape room and fucking hillbilly punching. All kinds of stuff. So yeah, all that's coming out later this year for Resident Evil Village, which is a good big old cool update.
A really cool update.
Good with all that. Good stuff. So October 28th, I believe. Is that 10 is October, right?
10 is October.
November, December. Yes. Okay. We also saw that they added a bunch of next gen features to RE2, RE3, and RE7. Oh, also Reverse is still coming out.
Yeah, apparently Reverse
is still coming out. You thought that they forgot? They didn't forget. Reverse is actually coming out.
I still can't believe this is a thing. But
anyway,
but fun fact about the next gen like RTX stuff for 7, 2, and what was the other one?
3.
3?
2, 3, and 7. Yep.
Is that mods don't work with them.
Oh.
So the modding community is freaking out.
Well, I'll tell you what the other thing is that they added, so I actually downloaded RE2 to take a look at it, and the thing is that they added, well, first off, they added all that stuff right now. It's available for download right now. I don't know about RE7 or RE3, but I know in RE2, they had a high frame rate mode, but it's one of those 120 hertz things, so you have to have a TV that supports it. Yeah. And if you turn on the ray tracing, it drops the frame rate to like 30 instead of 60.
That's interesting.
Which, like, this is maybe a weird thing to say, but I don't feel like Resident Evil would really benefit as much from a ray tracing, because the lighting engine in the RE engine is already really good.
It's really good, and it's very specific in what it's doing. So having like realistic lighting may end up making some parts not as interesting.
I don't know. I'm starting to get to this point now where it's hard for me to play anything at lower frame rates because I've been playing everything at high frame rates. Because
you're one of them. You're one of them bougie fucking monitor people.
I know. I don't want it to be the case, but now the 30 frames per second makes me. I don't like
How else will you play Toy Story 2 for the PS1?
I don't know.
How else will you play it?
They also showed RE4, but as this is similar.
Similar to what they showed already, outside of like one or two like sections.
Yeah,
but even then, not by a lot. But it's a lot of what we've already known about what RE4 is going to look like.
Yeah.
Like I said, they did show off like maybe 5 seconds more footage for the most part.
Yeah, just a little bit of extra.
But they're very excited.
Yeah.
They built everything essentially from the ground up.
Yep.
And so I'm excited.
Yeah. Show more, Capcom. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I get why they're making RE4. I really wish they would have made Code Veronica because I've never played it. And I'm not about to play it right now.
Or even Resident Evil 1.
Yeah. But whatever. Again, as we said last week, I think 4 is the last game in the franchise that needs to be remade. Oh, I said that to Amanda because I say that every time this game comes up. So, because you and I for Patreon, we played that fucking HD texture pack. It was great.
It was great.
It was really good.
And also, there's the VR version of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
that's also really good.
There's a lot of good versions of RE4. Seems like you might be hitting max RE4 saturation.
Yeah, you're getting there.
And that was it. That was Capcom. Kind of short and sweet, to the point. Like Street Fighter, Dino Crisis, that's not Dino Crisis, Resident Evil, and Monster Hunter. Done. Well, let's see. We got about 10 minutes. You think we can squeeze Devolver in 10 minutes?
Probably. You've already played one of the games, or some of these games we've already seen, and it's not a lot more to them.
That's true. Yeah, we'll go over the games real fast, and then maybe we can see about how much.
We'll talk about the actual presentation.
The presentation, yeah. Well, you know what this means. I've got us scheduled for 3 parts, and we've managed to make really good time. That means we're going to be looking at a lot of PC gaming show.
Oh God! What have you wrought, world? What have you wrought?
So the actual presentation was. It very few games.
Honestly, we've actually already played 3 of these things.
Yeah.
Not 3, at least 2 of them.
Two of them we've already played.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was a demo. Okay, real fast, for the games they showed. Cult of the Lamb, they showed a new trailer for. I'm less and less interested in Cult of the Lamb.
Well, the more they show on it, the more it's like, look at all this like settlement building, and I'm like, now you lost me.
Right. But I'm not even a big fan of playing action games when it's this kind of 2D top-down action, the kind of clay version.
Yeah. I love it's the whole aesthetic though. Like this cutesy thing with some dark shit going on in it.
Yeah, I love the art style. I just don't know that I'm actually really interested in playing the game.
Yeah, that's kind of my only issue that I've had so far.
It looks like a cutesier version of Don't Starve.
Yeah, and that's really my only issue with it.
So, but this game is already coming out. It's August 11th. There's a demo, etc., etc. I don't know, like the Cult of the Lamb. Go check it out.
I'm sure people are going to love it.
Fart noise. Angerfoot is my favorite game of all time. I love it so much because you play as, it's from Free Lives, the people that made Genital Jousting, Broforce, and Gorn.
Which are amazing fucking games.
Which, how could you not like it? And I remember I watched this trailer and
Genital Jousting is kind of a weird one.
It looked kind of like Hotline Miami from a first person where you've just, you know what it is? It's the Mighty Foot from Duke. From Duke Nukem.
That's exactly what it is, which is why I'm like, this is awesome.
But then everything is weird and like super hyper colored and like very colorful and violent and fast, and it's got a like doom 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 doom.
I also didn't notice that shot in the trailer where he uses both of his feet.
Did he use both of his feet?
Yeah, there's one where he uses both of his feet.
Where?
The right here, or no, just before that. Go back just a little more. There.
Oh, he jumped and then did it. Yeah.
Which is just fucking awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Go watch Amanda and I play this. It was some of the most fun we've had in a long time. It's fucking psychotically fun.
It's the Friday video, right?
It's the video that came out the day that we're recording this. But like, seeing the trailer, he's driving with his feet and he's like vaping and drinking an energy drink. We found out if you drink 2 energy drinks, the screen like the FOV narrows to a pinpoint, everything turns neon, the soundtrack speeds up, and you run at hyper speed.
Oh my god!
It's so fast you can barely control the game.
That's amazing.
It's really good. It's like Hotline Miami, but goofy as fuck. All of the different bad guys are like these guys have the melee guys are like dinosaurs. Like these guys are Muppets. There's guys that just have a hand for a head that are the shotgun guys.
Oh god!
And if they kill you, their hand the face is on the back of their hand, and when they kill you, their hand either turns to a middle finger or devil horns while you're on the ground looking up at them. That cop with the riot shield has a pigeon head.
Oh my god!
There are dudes that have bomb heads, and it's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like,
even the main character is like a zombie like looking dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just fun,
and it's got a great soundtrack.
Trailer.
You can unlock different shoes that do different things. Like whenever you kick open a door, it goes into slow motion, or just turn off gravity. Like this is a game made by people. Like that's what I love about Free Lives with their Broforce thing is they're just like, what's fun?
No,
and it's like, well, shooting dudes and kicking stuff, and it's like, do that. Like, what's the story? Fuck you. That's the story.
Pretty much. Like Broforce, when it started, it was just the concept.
Yeah.
There was no story. Yeah. The story eventually turned into America wants to kill Satan.
Here's a brief spoiler. After Mission 2 in Angryfoot is sitting on the couch with his girlfriend, eating popcorn with his toes and grabbing a wine glass with your foot, and Goo Cop calls. And Goo Cop says, "You fucking with us for the last time, Angryfoot. Check your fax machine." And then a fax comes out of the fax machine, and Angryfoot looks at it, and it's a picture of a sneaker with a gun put to the side of the sneaker that says, "We've taken Alexander." And then Angryfoot jumps up and goes to his closet, kicks the door open, and there's nothing but shoes everywhere. And there's one section that says Alexander, and the shoes are missing. And then you go to the next level and start kicking more people to get your fucking shoes back.
That's amazing. I love that they didn't kidnap his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's the best fucking thing they could have done for that.
They kidnapped his shoes. It's
like Seinfeld.
It's fucking wonderful, and I think everybody should play this, and it's great. Did you see that the tentacle had a gun?
I did not.
So there's a tentacle that comes out.
God, it does have a gun.
And it's got a little gun in its hand, and the one behind this guy has a knife.
It's got like a toxic tattoo. Oh my god.
It's game rules.
And it's smoking.
Yep. It's game rules. Go check it out.
That's amazing.
If you've got Steam, go check out the demo for it. It's fucking great.
Shit.
It's got a great soundtrack.
That's
go watch our video. So fun. Launch trailer.
Card Shark stuff, yeah.
Launch trailer for Card Shark.
This trailer shows more of what the game actually was than I thought it was.
So here's the thing, Michael, is that in the lead up to Card Shark, I feel like all the trailers looked like this. And then when you and I played it, it was a lot of tutorials that were very difficult to actually do. Whereas the trailer is just like a montage of fast stuff. And then you go to play the game and you're like, it is not fast.
No.
There is less stuff. So, but still, I feel like it's going to appeal to a very specific group of people.
It's a fun little thing, and it's got a nice little art style, and it's very challenging.
Yep. Plucky Squire looked very good as well.
This looked like a fun time.
So the Plucky Squire is coming next year, and this is a game that starts where you're like looking at like a children's picture book, and you're playing the game like looking at this picture book, like you're playing the like the illustrations in a book. But then at a certain point, the Plucky Squire like jumps out of the book. There's like a punch out with a badger section, but there's a point where the Plucky Squire jumps off the page onto the table where the book is, and then kind of continues the adventure, but then like through other stuff. So there's like a mug that has like a spaceship on the side, and now it's a side-scrolling level, and then there's like 3D sections where you're running around. Looks like very creative and a lot of fun.
I'm interested, and it's going to come out for everything too.
It reminds me a little bit of It Takes Two, except not co-op. but with the whole kind of like little toys running around doing stuff.
Oh, okay.
I really like the art style for it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's got a really nice art style, and it changes art styles constantly too, from what you see.
Yeah, looks good. Looks very good.
Really interesting.
Very, very into it. And other than that, the other thing was Skate Story. I don't know if you actually saw the...
I did see.
The story for this is that you are a demon made of pain and glass that must skateboard their way through hell. And so if you fall, you shatter.
Yeah. They show a bit of times he falls.
It's a very, very artsy game.
Oh, 100%.
Very artsy skateboarding through hell game.
Devolver is really funny in that way, is that it publishes one of two things.
Yeah.
Something that's really artsy or something that's batshit fucking insane.
Yeah.
Usually, very rarely in the middle.
So yeah, it's a very artsy game, and it's also a skateboarding game.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing. It's got this weird aesthetic.
It's hard to describe exactly what it is. Like, it doesn't look like anything I've seen before.
No,
like I would say it looks almost stop animated, but again, it's almost like, I don't know. The thing is that they did a really good job with the camera of simulating like skateboard cameras, right? Like people,
like it's got that Tony Hawk story mode camera that it has, and which looks really cool, but also this very stylized way of moving.
Yeah,
like the way he moves, the way like his, I guess it's a scarf or something. Like it doesn't move, like it doesn't flow. Like
no,
it has these stopping sort of motions, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's kind of halted. Yeah, but it's very strange. It's very striking, and it's one of the few times on this show that I feel like it's hard to actually describe what I'm looking at.
100%.
Because it is a skateboarding game, but it's got such a unique look. It almost looks wrong. It almost looks like it's fucked up somehow.
Which really sells the whole like supernaturally idea of it.
Yeah, and it's got this very kind of low res, low poly character, but the game world itself is not. It's obviously the style and not just like to cost cutting or anything.
The funny thing is that I was watching this as I was working originally. I ended up watching it again.
Yeah,
but it made me realize I wasn't looking at the actual Devolver YouTube channel because whatever I was watching, I guess it took it from Twitch or something. Because the entire thing just went silent all of a sudden.
Oh, because of the music.
Because of the music.
It's got like actual music from.
And I thought my PlayStation fucked up, and then I turned and looked. I'm like, oh, because this isn't the actual Devolver YouTube channel. So I got out of it and went to the Devolver YouTube channel, and then watched the whole thing again after work.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Very different. Not like anything I've ever seen before. I'm not the biggest skateboarding game fan, but I do like me some Devolver shit.
Yeah.
Even when it doesn't land. You know, I was it might have been you that I was talking to a few weeks back about how like Devolver reminds me of old school, and I know that old school LucasArts was a developer, not a publisher, but Devolver reminds me of old school LucasArts in that like I might not like every game they put out, but every game they put out is a high quality. It may just not be for me.
No, yeah, that was what that was. Not original, but there's a certain time frame of Activision that I felt like was like that too.
Or Nintendo's kind of like that now, where I don't like all their games, but they're all very good quality games.
Yeah, they tend to be like bangers every single time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason it kind of reminds me of that Activision time frame as well is that Activision did a lot of weird shit in this weird specific time frame around the PS1 era, where they was just like they were all really fun, but they were never always for me.
Yeah, and
that's what it reminds me of. Like when the Neversoft time frame, when they made Tony Hawk and Spider-Man and all those things.
I get you. Well, that's part 2 done, Michael.
That's part 2 done.
When we come back, I think we're going to talk very briefly, because we don't have time to fit it in right now, but we're going to talk about the story from the Devolver conference. We're going to talk about some selections of the PC gaming show, and then I think I'm going to throw in a little bit of Square Enix at the end. So make sure to come back for part 3. What? How is it so many podcasts?
Revenge of the Sith or whatever.
We'll see you then. All right. See you in a minute. back again. What? 3 parts?
Yep.
3-part podcast?
Robot House?
Madness, I say. But no, this is the good. We're splitting the difference between doing like 8 podcasts and just doing like one real big podcast. Yeah. So, yes, we're back. We're going to talk about the PC gaming show and maybe a little bit of extra stuff. But before we do that, we wanted to just briefly touch on the. It's so weird to be like the story of this one E3 show. I don't feel like any of the other Devolver Digital presentations had a story as coherent as this one.
Oh, no, absolutely. Because the other ones were like you thought you had an idea of what was going on, and then something would happen in it.
Yeah,
like the one where it turns out she was in like a virtual reality the whole time or something like that.
The one thing I know about Devolver Digital is they fucking love RoboCop.
They do.
That was RoboCop 3, where the blonde sex pot came in to rebuild Nina as like the ultimate. And that was when they were doing the Nintendo Direct parody.
Yeah,
she was stuck in the Nintendo Direct void space, and then last year it was Game Pass. And this year, it's like all companies become one company.
It's RoboCop 2.
It's also RoboCop 2.
It's also RoboCop 2.
Because they have a mech.
There's a line as well that he just does from a normal RoboCop as well.
Yes. It's okay. I was telling Michael, it finally clicked in my head about why I thought this one wasn't quite as good as some of the other ones. And it's because the other ones have this just like sheer unbridled bravado.
Yeah.
Like this just like, fuck you guys. We're the greatest company and we're willing to say the shit that nobody else is willing to say. Last year, they just spent the entire time making fun of Game Pass and topped it off with an NFT joke before NFTs were even the scourge of reality. Like,
well, they were getting there.
Yeah. They were on their way, but they weren't nearly as bad as they are. They became the 12 months after that. So, but yeah, Suda51 is the guy from RoboCop 2, the drug guy from RoboCop 2 in a mech suit. And
it's amazing.
And they don't really ever entirely explain why they built his robot wrong, and so he's causing the video game singularity where all companies are becoming one company that is Devolver Digital.
Because that's them making fun of the fact that everybody keeps buying everybody.
Yeah,
and which they literally like use that exact
Struthers
sequence.
Nina Struthers.
Yes, Nina Struthers.
I keep wanting to say Nina Myers. That's not right. Nina Struthers.
While Suda is just like saying random shit.
Yeah. Suda's he's a Max Headroom in a fucking Appleseed robot.
The processing got me bad the first time I saw it. Because he's clearly doing a T-pose.
Yeah.
And just saying processing.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking funny to me.
So yeah, it was pretty good. They had some good gags. Tom Clancy's Animal Crossing was a fine motherfucking gag.
That's a great fucking gag. I want that shirt.
I said it with Amanda. I like the idea that when the boss comes in and she's like, yeah, all game companies are becoming one game company and it's going to be us. And she's like, and why is that a bad thing? And she's like, because we don't know what we're fucking doing. Like,
yeah, they're like, we're barely a company.
Yeah. Which I don't know. Again, it was like I like a little bit more of the unbridled bravado I was talking about last year with the chili dogs and the fucking with the 2 big bodybuilders just lifting her up and tearing her sleeves off, and she's just lubing up her arms for some reason. It's like, what?
Yeah, he does that. This tastes like baby food is the thing.
Oh,
he does at
yeah,
that point.
Yeah.
But there's just so much like insane shit going on.
Yeah,
as it progresses, and it's just like that moment. The moment where everything just like starts disappearing and going in and out.
Yeah,
it's just so fucking funny to me.
It was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good. Again, I'd said when I was talking to Amanda about this, it's just like I don't think it was bad. It wasn't quite. I like the previous stuff a little better.
Well, it's more of like a bottle episode,
right?
Feeling where they're all in one area. Where there's like some shots here and there that happen that are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones, like, yeah, they go through so many different stages and stuff.
I kind of just miss I mean, I guess we're living in a different world now, right? But I kind of miss when they just had the virtual E3 stage and Nina Struthers would just come out and berate the audience. And that was like the whole thing.
Doesn't she get like covered in beans or something at one point? Or am I thinking of something else?
I don't remember.
I might be thinking of the chili dog thing again. No, she just starts bleeding. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah, where her nose just starts bleeding in the middle of like screaming about how gamers are a bunch of slack-jawed idiots that don't know anything. And
also, there's one thing that people forget from the very first one that they did. Was they got a bunch of like YouTubers, because you know how because this is making fun of the other thing where it's like the countdown to maybe something,
right?
Where there was something they did in the very, very first one before they actually started the actual presentation, where they had people record a thing that was like, because you know, like at the time they would have YouTubers being like, I'm super excited for Sony or whatever.
Oh, right.
And they did that, but it was a bunch of like people being like, what is this? I don't know what Devolver is. What the fuck is?
That was where Suda first showed up.
Yeah, Suda first showed up in that.
What is this?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? Who are you guys?
And the reason I remember it the most is because they got Funhouse to do one, which is was one of my favorite YouTube channels, and it was the first time I was really into those guys.
Yeah.
And they even got them to do one. They're like, I don't know what Devolver is.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of fun because they just make fun of whatever is like the thing at the time.
Yeah.
And and you can watch any one of them and know exactly what was going on in gaming at that point.
Yeah.
And I really like that a lot about them. So yeah, he has like an Arby's shirt. I'm trying to figure out what that says.
It says Beef and Threader. I don't. Oh, it's got the NVIDIA logo on
is that
it.
What it
like
is?
Is it? Oh, I think it might be like Beef and Threadripper.
Oh, that's amazing. He's just got a Cheetos hat all of a sudden.
Yeah. No, they got some good stuff in here, and it was pretty fun.
The point where the boss is like dressed like fucking Princess Peach and somebody's Scorpion.
Yeah. Yeah, is that like I don't even know if that's a Dante or not. I know there's a Link in there.
I think she's supposed to be a Final Fantasy character back there.
Okay.
No, she's supposed to be like Geralt. Because he's got that, like...
Oh.
Or not Geralt, but one of the characters from that thing.
And then it ends with the never-ending story.
Yeah, with the never-ending story.
With Suda51 and neither Struthers.
And my favorite thing is you're expecting Suda to announce something.
And he does not.
And he never fucking does.
He absolutely does not.
And I can't help but love the fucking commitment.
I mean, here's the...
also the Predator.
And then he self-destructs himself like the Predator with literally the Predator countdown thing on it.
So perfect. I love it.
Because he goes back in time for when they first turn him on and then self-destruct so he doesn't cause the singularity.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
But yeah, I don't know. It was good. I mean, obviously, like, this was more entertaining on an entertainment level than any of the other conferences.
100%.
Which actually ties directly into the PC gaming show. Because remember last year how they had that big, dumb... like Mech Warrior, the robots taking over, like story from PC gaming.
It's very strange
with Dan Slott and fucking Frankie and LeVar Burton's daughter.
It was very strange.
So they. Oh, this is partially into it. So when they start this up this year, Michael, they basically just come out and they're just like. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Like, we don't care about any of that anymore. We're just going to show games. And I'll be honest, PC Gaming Show had a little bit of, like, crap in it, but this was a lot better than it has been in years past because they have much fewer developer interviews. Only one big ad, and not like a fucking somebody from AMD is going to come out and talk for 20 minutes ad, but just
so many ads
like a 5-minute ad. And for the most part, they just show trailers. I feel like everybody, you know what? I feel like when I watch Nintendo Direct, when I watch the State of Play, even Jeff Keighley and company, and even Xbox and company, I feel like they've learned that it's like, we don't give a shit. Like, you put that shit later. Like, after the conference is over, do your extended live stream with 1,000,000 hours of developer interviews. But, like, when we tune in to watch this shit, we just want, like, world premiere. Here's a trailer.
They
we don't want that shit.
That's the thing is if you can trend so much better if you're having announcements that people can lose their shit over.
Yeah.
Or just in general.
Just one right after the other as opposed to, like, this. Now let's talk to the guy that made fucking Maneater for 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's like, so I was watching a documentary about sharks.
Right.
And you know, the dictionary defines sharks as like, get the fucking, no one gives a fuck.
Yep.
Show it bite something.
So, yeah, they pretty much are just hanging out in this weird, like, PC building thing. And then they reference that last year they had this story, and they're just like, we don't care anymore. Let's get on with it.
Yeah. It's like, it was a nice try, but no one really cared.
So, Michael hasn't seen any of these trailers.
I have not.
We're going to kind of skip around because not every one of these is a banger. This is not Tom Haverford's playlist. They started off with this game called oh fuck, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, let me get to the right place. Woo,
That's a weird name for a game.
There's a lot.
Overly long.
Called Solstice. Okay, so this is like an action anime RPG. The main character is a lady with an eye patch and a buster sword, and she also appears to have a Shadow of Mordor ghost companion who's also some kind of waifu anime thing. And she's fighting a bunch of monsters, and it's kind of in a dark fantasy world. And Michael, it kind of looks really good.
It looks really fascinating, actually.
Like it kind of rules in a way where, like, I haven't really seen that much as far as gameplay goes, but the concept and the trailer and the art style is all very derivative, but it's derivative in a Darkstalkers way, where, like, I don't mind the fact that it's derivative because it looks like they took a bunch of good shit and then, you know, made it into better shit. So,
well, it's the thing that we were talking about a while back, where Unreal has gotten to, because I don't know if this was used with Unreal, but a lot of gaming engines in general have gotten to the point where anyone can make anything.
Yeah.
And people have taken advantage of that.
It looks like Final Fantasy. It looks like Shadow of Mordor. It looks like a JRPG. It kind of looks like Arcane in a way,
like Crystal or something. It's fucking crazy.
It looks real, but it looks real good. Like, and you know, we're not even watching it with sound or anything, but like, it sounds good too, and it's got like a nice soundtrack and a big kind of the cool vibes. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of into this. Like, they started with this and I was like, oh, this is some generic Steam game that I don't give a shit about. And then by the time the trailer was over, I was like, I think I do kind of give a shit about
and
this.
It's on consoles. That's actually surprising.
Yeah, there were a bunch of games that were all also on consoles. So
that's legit surprising.
And that's coming, what was that, October?
This year, yeah,
September 20th.
Very, very amazing. That's kind of
and that's also Modus Games, who's pretty good about as a publisher.
Is that what a Series Xbox looks like, by the way?
What do you mean? Oh, the box with the white Xbox Series X? Yes, I believe so.
Here's the thing. I haven't bought an Xbox Series X game physically.
I've only bought neither I think I bought like 2 PS5 games, and that's like physically.
I've bought PS5 games, but that's the thing. I don't own a single physical Xbox Series X game.
Where's my copy of Godfall? I'm gonna put that in and give it to you for your birthday.
Why?
It's your favorite game, Michael. From there, Clay announced their new game. And this time it's not a management game. It's called Rotwood, and it is a third-person beat 'em up action game, which is good because I liked Griftlands a lot, which I think last year was when they put Griftlands out. But I'm not a big fan of Oxygen Not Included and Don't Starve. But I like this. This is all like 2D, but it's a very kind of beat 'em up 2D.
It looks gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah, with really good animation and like cool little animal characters. And yeah, I mean, again, solid, right? Like.
Yeah. It looks really solid, actually.
I mean, I want Shadow of the Ninja 2, Mark of the Ninja 2, but I know that's not going to happen, and it probably shouldn't happen.
Maybe more Shank.
Maybe more Shank.
Cool.
Did you ever play? I mean, I don't think so because it wasn't on. I don't think it was on the consoles. Maybe it was on the Griftlands was really good.
I heard of it, but I never played it.
The weird, like, kind of card-based, like
we played it. I think
it was very good.
If I remember.
Oh, no, I played it with we might have played it in early access, but I played it when it came into 1.0 with Grant of all people.
Yeah, we played the early access one, and then you played it with Grant.
But this looks really good. Like very creative, good.
I remember liking it then too.
Very good character designs. So yeah, Rotwood coming into early access in 2023. Clay, 2020 question mark.
They probably just don't know yet.
Clay, even though their games might not always be for me, I really like what they do.
Yeah,
so
they've made some pretty solid stuff.
From here, we have the greatest game of all time, and they need to fucking put it out now. Tactical Breach Wizards. Do you know what Tactical Breach Wizards is?
No.
Tactical Breach Wizards is the next game being made by the guy that made Heat Signature and Gunpoint. And it is an XCOM game where you play as a bunch of SWAT wizards, like
that sounds amazing.
Fucking in these tiny little like dioramas, going in and blasting people with magic missiles and machine guns and wands and shit. Where it's like dudes have wizard hats but also Kevlar vests and like riot shields. And I want to play Tactical Breach Wizard so bad.
Just the name is already amazing.
Yes. There's a demo. There was a demo or an
Some
alpha.
great lines already in this already.
Yeah,
it's like chasing a multi-million-dollar company using public transport is surprisingly hard.
yeah. It looks so creative. I love the dude. I love Heat Signature so much. Like, I really want to play this. It looks like that XCOM Chimera Squad, but like better with like weird wizards and shit. And it's been in development for a while now. I really can't wait to play Tactical Breach Wizards.
I can't blame you. It looks like a lot of fun.
It looks so good. I like that guy so much. Yeah, I can't say more about that. If you haven't heard of Tactical Breach Wizards, go check it out because it looks good. And I don't know.
God, the dialogue is so much fun.
Yeah, wizards.cool. Go to wizards.cool and check out Tactical Breach Wizards. Let's see. Last year, do you remember we had this game that was called The Invincible? That was based on like I think it's Stanislav Lev book, the guy that made Solaris, and it was like a very brief teaser about a woman on a planet, and then like this weird old school looking robot comes up next to her, and like a guy talks to her in her earpiece, and then it's like
vaguely remember it.
Yeah. So they had a gameplay showcase of this. It's hard to tell. This looks like it's going to be kind of like a walking simulator. And it's got this very kind of like retro futurist thing going on, where it's like the moon, but from like a cosmonaut from the 70s kind of perspective. It looks like an adventure game. There hasn't been any like action or anything in it yet.
I do appreciate that the mic is like directly in the head.
Yeah. There's I like this little like this is the motion sensor to show where things are. This kind of like little array of lights. There's a point. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip because this goes on for like 5 or 10 minutes. But there's a point here where at the very end of this trailer, the main character gets nuked by the thing by this robot that she's looking at earlier. And then says like something that makes it sound like it's going to be almost like a time loop thing where you have to kind of figure stuff out and then maybe come back. I don't know. I think this is. Let me make sure that I'm not talking out of my butt. Let's see. It's the Invincible game. Yeah, Stanislaw Lem. Okay, good. I want to make sure I'm not fucking quoting like very, very famous science fiction writers just out of my butt. Like Solaris. He wrote the book that Solaris is based off of. So I think it's possible that we might have like a time loop kind of thing going on here because the guy is like a sci-fi writer, right?
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
So, but yeah, at the very end, this robot fucking blasts the main character, and they have like a dialogue tree. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like a time loop thing. So
it's going to be on console too.
Yep,
that's pretty cool,
and it's coming next year. From there, we saw this is so weird. Oh, God, this is so weird. Another trailer for Endless Dungeon. Do you remember the Endless franchise where there was like Dungeon of the Endless that was like a 2D base thing, and then there was like the Civilization one that was like Planet of the Endless or something like that.
That sounds familiar.
And then there was Endless Space that was like a 4X. So we had all these different ones, but Sega is publishing this one that seems to be kind of like an ARPG that you play with your buddies. There was a trailer for this last year. I don't know if you remember that.
I vaguely remember that trailer actually,
but it's 3D and it looks really good. Like it looks fun. It kind of reminds me of Helldivers a little bit.
I can see that.
Kind of just big science fiction blankety. It's a real
6-shooter.
It's a real sci-fi E3 this year,
which is fascinating to me that we've gone back to that.
Sci-fi and horror.
Yeah, I'm absolutely cool with that.
Yeah. So yeah, Endless Dungeon. I think it's been in
Sega.
No, you can't do that anymore. Now you have to go boing, like, because that's what they do. From there, we saw F1 Manager, which is a management sim where you tell the F1 guys when to like pit and how much damage they have on their tires.
That's crazy.
The crazy thing about it is that like at least all the menus are like you're still sitting behind the guy driving the car, so it's not like you're just sitting looking at a screen like of dudes going in a circle like that.
I'm cool with that though, because my issue with a lot of the manager ones is you don't even get to do any of the cool parts of it.
Right.
Like Football Manager's like, well, then there was a football game, and you never really see the game.
Yeah.
You just find out the scores. This is kind of cool because you actually see what's going on.
Well, yeah, because you could tell your guy like overtake, and then you don't have to learn how to play a driving game. You can just watch the AI do it. Right.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like because they a lot of them have cameras inside of them to begin with.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for like the guy who's helping them in the pit to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. So it's a perfect excuse for that.
But yeah, F1 Manager 22 coming on August.
What do you do? What do you do when Whiplash shows up on the racetrack though?
Well, that's when you got to get out your briefcase and turn into the Iron Man. Chivalry 2 is done with its Epic exclusivity, so it's coming to Steam.
Okay.
Along with the big expansion that they have. That
means the 10 people who keep boycotting will finally buy it.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I still maintain that Chivalry 2 is a fucking buttload of fun and everyone should play it because
it was a great looking game.
It's so fun, and like you don't have to. It's not like Call of Duty where you have to aim right. Like you're literally swinging like claymores and shit.
Yeah.
And now there's like mounted combat, so you could just lance a dude from a horse or like shoot a cannon at a fucking building. Like, and then there's a dedicated scream button, so everybody could just go and it's fucking beautiful, and I love it. So
that's the fun thing about games like this. There's the big multiplayer like army things.
Yeah.
Just crazy shit.
Lots of players too, like the real high server counts, and it's just a big fucking scrum because there's also NPC characters out there. Like it's total madness, and it's great.
It's great to watch too.
Like I know that like Mountain Blade and the first Chivalry and stuff were fun, but I really only ever got into it when Matt and I played Chivalry 2. And the longer I played it, the more I was just like, I kind of love this. So
yeah, it did really well. Did really, really well.
From there, we saw a game called we'd go pretty fast for all this stuff. Deceive Incorporated. This is like a kind of a multiplayer, kind of semi-futuristic spy game. I think from what I see, Michael, it looks like it's got the kind of 70s overkill Deathloop aesthetic in a way, kind of futuristic 70s. But then it reminds me a lot of Assassin's Creed multiplayer.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah,
that was the thing that kept reminding me of the more I watched the trailer for this.
So, which I never thought they got quite right. Like
it was a great idea. Yeah, it was always a great idea.
Yeah,
it's just never like they themselves just weren't able to make it work.
So I don't know. Like we'll see if the idea of like, oh, you have to pretend to be like an AI guy, but then there's also some action and you've got like an objective and stuff. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It also looks like there's some colored tier loot coming out of them, like a battle royale. Like they're dropping their equipment with color-coded tiers. So I don't know. Not a lot of information on this one. I mean, a lot of it could be that, I'll be honest, y'all, I haven't like watched every single moment of like post-conference stuff. So there could already be information about this, but I don't know. It just reminds me a lot of Assassin's Creed for some reason.
Yeah, well, it's a game type that a lot of people, or a lot of things have done over the years. More and more, like they've slowly started perfecting the idea.
Yeah, and
I'm hoping one of them finally gets it to the point where it's just this really fucking amazing thing.
It also says they've got some prop hunt going on in here.
Yeah, because prop hunt is the other one that's like very similar in that way.
Yeah,
because people are, and then there's because I remember some amazing Assassin's Creed vids of people like being so good at pretending to be the AI that people get frustrated. And you see stuff like that with the when people take over Dark Souls games.
Yes.
Where people put on the outfits and then kill the enemy that's supposed to be there and then just do the motions.
Yep, true.
Just amazing shit.
Let's see. We got a commercial for a bunch of PC parts. I think this is the only one. We got that similar trailer for Flintlock, like we saw from the Xbox Game Show. This is mostly the same. There's a little bit of additional footage in here, I believe, peppered in, like some stuff that I didn't see in the Xbox thing. Looks as good as before. Go back to part 1. You can find out what we think about this. Let's see. After that, just quit talking to people and quit trying to sell me Visa cards. Oh, there's like a full-on commercial. Okay, so next up was a game called Altars, and this is from the people that made Frostpunk, This War of Mine, and Children of Morta.
We played Frostpunk, didn't we?
I don't know if that was you or me. I don't know. That was a while back.
That was the survival one, right?
Yeah, where you have the big tower in the middle and everything is frozen.
We play that. I found out my boss is playing that right now.
So Frostpunk and This War of Mine are a little too grim for me.
Yeah.
But I love Children of Morta. Children of Morta was really fun. This one's called Altars, and like it's got a cinematic trailer. No real information outside the fact that this character is on a ship, of this character that kind of wakes up and he's kind of going through this ship and he comes into this room and the room is full of him. There's like a dead guy and he looks up and it's like his face, and then it turns out that all the other people standing around also have his face. And it's funny because they actually did an interview with the guy where they're like, so is this like a cloned thing? And they're like, no, it's not. It's a multiverse thing where they're all different versions from different universes.
Oh, that's fun.
And you trying to interact with them to like solve this mystery of like what's going on type of thing. Not much outside of the cinematic trailer, but the cinematic trailer looks weird and cool. So
I like the multiverse idea much better than clones.
Those multiverses are so hot right now.
It's very hot right now.
So hot right now.
There's the thing about multiverses. They're so fun to explore.
Yeah,
because you can just be like, well, this slight change made you like really good at science or something, or this slight change made you to go fuck science and get really good at math or something.
Oh Jesus, there's so many of these
cool shit like that.
All right, now is the time where we start skipping over stuff I don't care about. Because I do care about this. This looks cool.
That looks really cool. I'm actually really interested in that.
Especially from that developer, because I know they make very good games.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see. Oh, my God. Here's those interviews that I said they didn't do when they're doing them. Let's see. Outriders expansion. It's a game called Potion Craft. It looks like I've seen this game before, but it's a little bit more medieval themed.
Yeah, I like the art style for it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Animal Royale Season 4 is out. I didn't know this was still a thing.
I didn't realize it was still a thing either.
So we did. Okay, so the next thing that was kind of cool was we had a game called Nitro Kid, which is very kind of like neon 80s with this guy that looks a lot like Bruce Lee. But the actual game itself is like that game Fights in Tight Spaces that we played.
Oh,
where it's kind of like a cyber version of that, where you've got cards, you've got these individual little rooms that are filled with enemies, and then you've got a bunch of cards that let you like move and attack and do different like power-ups and stuff. You can build different decks. They put a demo out for it. It seems okay. It's
a lot like that John Wick game, basically.
Yes, sort of, a little bit.
Not exactly, but well, actually, you know, another one that I could compare it to is Metal Gear Acid.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, kind of like that. I played the demo for it. It was very hard. It's got a kind of nifty art style, kind of Saturday morning cartoons from the 80s type of thing.
It's a fun art style.
So
I'd be terrible at it, but it's a fun art style.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got... I should probably just stick with this stuff so that I know what we're looking at. But actually, I should probably just look at this stuff on this page that has every single trailer cut into different thing. Mahokenshi, which is a card-based feudal China game, looks all right. Tripwire's got some new stuff for Killing Floor 2. Arma Reforger. They spent a long time talking with the Arma guys about Arma Reforger. Arma Reforger. Armor Reforger.
Arma the Arms.
I don't care about Arma. I'm never going to play it.
Really either. I get it, but I'm never going to play it.
I understand why it's appealing to people. I don't care. We got Dune Spice Wars multiplayer. some various stuff from this Shiro Games, Northgard. They're also turning themselves into a publisher. I've never heard of Shiro Games before, but they're starting up a publishing arm. So War Tales. They did have one game on here. The couple of games are interesting. There's one that's an undersea kind of management called Abyssals, where you're doing an undersea base, and then apparently there's like sea monsters.
Oh, okay.
We don't see as much undersea stuff. The one that I thought was really interesting was this one called Decarnation, and it looks kind of like an RPG Maker game, but a horror game. And we've seen those in the past, but like the art style for this is like, I think it's better than a lot of the RPG Maker games.
It's actually, that's the thing is when I was looking at it, it has this really nice, these really
kind of animations,
good detailed models.
Yeah,
compared to the way a lot of RPG Maker ones look like,
and some real disturbing looking shit too. Yeah.
Which like really sells the art style a lot better.
Yeah,
because we've seen some other horror games where it was like kind of like the sort of pixel thing, but the art like wasn't very good.
Yeah.
So when it would try to do like horror like images of those pixels,
yeah,
it was just like it's boring.
It's kind of weird because it's like they obviously made the characters' heads like oversized so you could see their faces.
Yeah, it gives them a lot more emotion stuff though.
Yeah. But yeah,
it works a lot.
This one legit looks good. Like I saw this one, I was like, definitely got to play this one. This one looks good. I'd honestly, were you on when we were talking about Yomawari the last time? Where I think I'd rather play something like this than Yomawari.
I don't remember. I feel like I was.
There was a third Yomawari game that got announced a little while back, but I don't remember where.
I don't remember if I was on that. I doubt it. I don't think I was.
Yeah. From there, we got a brief cinematic trailer for this game called I Am Future. This looks like a survival game, but there's not a lot of information. A seagull eats a worm and clicks a keyboard where a guy wakes up and he's got cucumbers on his eyes, and he takes the cucumbers off and looks around. The world's been devastated, so he pulls out a hammer and he's going to get started doing the crafting survival thing with his cyber arm. That's all there is, except at the end the seagull explodes when the worm pops out of it, but I don't know why. This part really confuses me because
the worm is strong, Jeff.
Why did they have him eat the worm in the beginning if the worm was just going to bust out of him at the end?
Because the worm is important, Jeff. He's going to be a main character.
I guess. From there, we saw one called Great Houses of Calderia, which was just kind of like a... What was that game we played where we couldn't declare war on France?
I don't remember. I was so just like, I'm done with this. We can't kill anybody.
It wasn't Chivalry. It was... fuck, I can't see the name of it. Anyway.
We kept trying to get him to assassinate somebody, and then the guy just fucking died of natural causes.
Yeah. It's one of those like kingdom simulators, and I'm not in for those. Like they don't really do it for me.
I get it. It's like one of those football manager games. It's like... I get it, but it's not for me.
Something 3. Anyway, Jurassic World Evolution is getting some DLC, some winged dinosaurs,
the raptors,
some other things. I'm sure Matt will be very, very interested.
Sure, whatever is going on, I guess.
System Shock got a brand new trailer. The System Shock remake.
This is the remake? Yes. I was going to say.
Yeah, it started with the Tri-Optimum thing. That's from the very beginning of the game, and this looks a lot like the game that we've been looking at, right? It's got kind of a voxel look to it. This kind of like crunchy, but like faithful to the original type of thing.
I hope this does well, to be honest.
The beginning started out with the whole trailer has Shodan talking throughout the entire thing. And I was like, oh, right, it's been a long time since I've heard the threatening voice of Shodan telling me how I'm just a worm in the machine kind of thing. But this looks good. Like, I don't know. They spent a long time working on this because in fact, this is Night Dive's first non-remake/re-release game. And
that I can think of, and they've been working on this forever.
They can't fuck it up. Well, they were going to fuck it up, and then they stopped, and they said, no, let's not fuck it up. Let's start over again. And
they were so close to fucking it up. They were so close to fucking it up.
And who knows? Maybe that version would have actually been good, but like...
It would have been fine, but I don't think people would have loved it.
I don't know. It's so weird. They actually have... they have an interview with Warren Spector where they're talking to him, and they talk to him for like 5 minutes, and it sucks because Warren Spector is smart as fucking great.
He is, yeah.
But he talks about how he's excited to play it because he hasn't played it since in 25 years or something that. Because he doesn't want to go back and play the old version.
Sure. Plus, he probably doesn't have good ways of playing it again.
Yeah,
because it wasn't one of those games that they had a hard time finding out who even had it.
Yeah, it was real messy. But yeah, I can't wait to play the new one. It looks good.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind. Yeah,
very good reinterpretation.
I played the original, but I never got very far because I was very young and I didn't understand how games worked.
Yeah, I beat the original, but I never beat 2. I always get stalled on 2. So, let's see. From there, we got a kind of brief glimpse at a game called Falling Frontier. It looks like it's like an RTS with spaceships.
That's neat.
I keep wanting them, Michael, to make a game. Okay, so we've got games like Star Wars, the Squadrons, where you're flying like a fighter. We've got games like Homeworld, where you've got like a capital ship, but we don't have a game that's like where you just get like a big capital ship to drive around that's complicated. One big ship, not like a Starfield size, this is my ship, but like a capital ship with like 400 people on it, where you've got to manage the ship and then also fend off attacks. Or there's some games like that, but then they always end up being like that Space Lanes game that we played, where it's all about internal management or FTL, right?
Yeah.
I need something that's a good cross between those two concepts. We got the trailer for Super People again. This is a battle royale multiplayer. I don't know if it's battle royale, but it's some kind of multiplayer bullshit. I think it looks really boring. It's just a bunch of people shooting guns and shit.
I'm
at
sure
each
it's
other.
going to be like a generic shooter.
Yeah. Let's see. We got, I don't know why they put world premiere in front of this, because this is that imposter game from the guy that made, or Immortality, from the guy that made Her Story and Telling Lies.
I remember this.
Yeah, with the 3 different movies from the actress in the 70s. Which, guys, you guys stop and just release the game. I'm gonna get it. I'm already in. You already got me.
I'm a big fan of these weird fucking games that these guys have made.
Yeah,
and I've played I've played at least the first 2 that they made.
It's Sam Barlow is the guy that made them. But yeah, I'm down for it. From there, there's a very strange game called Nivales that is about running a cafe in a cyberpunk world, where you're the guy that runs the street cafe in a weird cyberpunk world.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I kind of love that. Because every time somebody makes a cyberpunk thing, it's like, let's make the most depressing thing ever. And it's like, why don't you just be the sushi guy?
Yeah. And you get to decorate your apartment and grow your own vegetables and serve customers. And
that's fucking fun.
Walk around on the streets. Looks like there's a little bit more to it. Kind of the equivalent of what Weed Shop Simulator, but cyberpunk.
But also really well made.
Yeah, and not like a piece of shit.
And Donald Trump's not going to not pay our internet.
That was Internet Cafe Simulator.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of these simulators. So.
Yep. So yeah, it looks all right. I think it's weird how many developers use this weird voxel style. It's 3D pixel voxel style.
That's pretty cool. It works a lot for this, though.
Yeah. Also, 505 is publishing it, and I kind of trust them a fair amount.
They make good decisions.
Yep.
A lot of times.
Let's see. And then there was this game. There was this is a big one on a lot of people's list called Demon School. That's a very a combination of 3D and then some kind of pixel art characters, very much in the Persona going to school and then supernatural battling mystery, but also making friends kind of genre. That's how fun. It's literally pitched like name dropping Persona. So
yeah, it definitely has that sort of look to it.
Looks like a much older Persona, but then even the character designs look kind of like what early 2000s manga anime.
And their sprites look like they could be on an old Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
somewhat, except for the backgrounds kind of thing.
Yeah, so a lot of potential. I mean, obviously, just depends on whether it comes out well, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these things look good, but you can make a lot of games look good. So
that's the thing is that it's RPGs that use the personas like day 1, day 2 sort of thing is really difficult to do because the pacing has to work in a way that like it doesn't annoy the player.
Yeah,
kind of thing, as well as overwhelm them.
The one thing I'm a little down on with this is that the pixel art characters don't match the 3D environments. No,
yeah, that's one of the only.
And I kind of wish that they had chosen one or the other. Like they'd make the characters look more like, even if their dialogue was hand drawn.
Well, if they made the sprites a little more detailed, it would work a little better with the backgrounds. But like I said, they look more like they came out of a Super Nintendo, but the backgrounds don't.
Yep, and that's coming to everything. Like literally everything.
Oh wow! Yeah, look at that.
Epic, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. So
good for them.
Good. Let's see. Scorn got a very similar trailer to what we already saw. There's nothing.
A lot of ball imagery, Jeff.
There's nothing new to say about Scorn that hasn't been said before.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think this might have been the place where they interviewed the guy, and he was like, "This is not a shooter, even though there are guns in it."
Yeah, there's too many trailers. The guns.
There was a brief chat with the guys that are making Space Marine 2.
Okay. Good for them.
They talked just a little bit about it. I don't have time to talk about the talks. Talking about. This was an interesting one. I feel like this might have been made by the same people that made that weird Metal Gear game that we made. Okay, so this game, Michael, have you seen this? Do you know what this is?
I don't.
This is Agent 64 Spies Never Die. This is GoldenEye. It's just GoldenEye with the serial numbers rubbed off with new characters and different environments, but like the action, the way that the shooting looks is just like GoldenEye.
Even the way he reloads and changes weapons.
Yep, the health bars look just like GoldenEye.
I kind of love that idea, though.
Now, do you want to know the smartest fucking thing that this is? Like, because this is great, and I could totally see this being a thing that people would play. But do you know how you turn a good idea into a great idea?
What's that?
By putting out an engine that runs games that look exactly like GoldenEye, and then also including a full and complete level editor / creation tool.
That's fucking great.
So, like, here's the thing. They're just going to make GoldenEye.
People are just going to make fucking GoldenEye.
Like, they did this, and I forget where the place is in the trailer they show it, but, like, they did this, and I had an idea a long time ago, Michael, where I was like, okay, what if instead of trying to remake Metal Gear and then getting a cease and desist from Konami, so here's the campaign editor. What if instead of doing that, you just made a game that was this new engine that you wanted to make Metal Gear in, that was its own game, and then you made a total conversion mod that added all the assets and just made it into Metal Gear, but you put that shit on the Pirate Bay. You're like, I don't know what the fuck happened, but somebody just made this total HD conversion of Metal Gear Solid.
It's just the mod. I have nothing to do with that.
I just made the base game. I don't know what the fuck.
I made Agent Snake Dude.
Right.
I don't know. It's not the same thing.
But that's, I feel like, very similar to what's going on here, because you know the first thing that's going to happen.
They're fucking doing.
They're just going to make GoldenEye out of this. Like, they're just going to make it into GoldenEye.
That's
like,
all they're
as
fucking
soon
doing.
as possible, it's going to be GoldenEye.
That's a shame that due to the rights they could never re-release the game.
But I actually downloaded the demo for this. It was very weird and janky. I don't have the nostalgia, so I don't know. But it looks
like the aesthetic of it.
Exactly like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
So, oh shit. What was this one called? Take Us to Mars. Deliver Us Mars.
Deliver Us Mars.
They got a new trailer for that. That game's going to be out later.
A lot of trailers for that one.
Looks good. I mean, it looks good.
I think there's been a trailer for it for damn near every fucking conference.
Yeah, in September. Blah 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 blah. This is that RTS that was at the Summer Game Fest. There was that free-to-play RTS.
I love that one of its selling points has to be no NFTs.
Yes.
Like, this is the world we live in.
Stormgate. Lesara Summit Kingdom was a weird city-building game that's all about building a game on top of a mountain. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a very restricted city builder because you can only build like on the side of a mountain.
Oh, okay.
Like a Buddhist temple type of thing.
That's interesting.
Looks all right. I'm starting to like hardcore skip here. Frozen Flame is a survival RPG. Victoria 3 is like one of these politics simulators. New Blood is a company that I always try to keep an eye on. They're the ones that made Dusk and a Medieval, and they had a whole thing because a Medieval just got a DLC called the Black Labyrinth. Ultra Kill is getting some new stuff. Faith is getting I think they're putting those all together. Fallen Aces is out later this year, which is like weird gangster first person beat 'em up,
which looks like a lot of fun.
They're doing a total HD conversion for Dusk to get all of the textures up to HD.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is very cool. And then they had a joke where they talked about how, like, last year I was going to show off the trailer for this thing, and you cut me off and had Gabe Newell come on and talk about nothing. And so help me God, if you go to a commercial for the Steam Deck, I'm gonna, and then it goes to a commercial for the Steam Deck, and then he comes back and he's like, if you don't let me show the trailer for my game, I'm going to kill this puppy. And then he's like, I'm just kidding, I'm not going to kill this puppy.
Please no over the puppy. It was pretty good.
But the trailer is for Gloomwood, which is their Thief game that they're making.
Oh, okay.
It's literally the website for it is thiefwithguns.com.
That's fun. I appreciate your honesty, guys.
Yeah, they have a trailer for this out. It's actually really solid. Like, it's very primitive in obviously where it's done, but it's a very hardcore stealth game like Thief, where you have very limited inventory and like very perceptive enemies. It's again very much like Thief, of like trying to look at stuff, but then it's also got a kind of a weird story I didn't get far enough to really know, but you can like steal stuff off people and get resources. Like okay, so you have a pistol and it's got 6 shots, and the way you see how many shots left is if you hold down the reload button, he just pops open the chamber and you can literally see how many are left in there.
I love that.
That's how you see how many, because there's no real like, there's like a little HUD element to show you how hidden you are, but other than that, like, nah. So this, I think, looks really good. I can't wait to play this. I've never been as big of a fan of Thief as, like, I'm more of a Metal Gear guy than a Thief guy. But,
yeah, no, I get it, yeah.
But it still looks interesting, and I like this developer a lot. So
I like the fact that a lot of developers are willing to just make games that people just don't really make that much anymore.
Right, where they're just like, hey, you know what the community really wants? Thief.
Yeah.
Let's just make a Thief game instead of waiting for them. Do you know what? GoldenEye. Let's just make GoldenEye and call it something else, and who gives a fuck?
It's a good time. It's a good time for developers, and I love that.
Yeah. I don't know much about this. There was just a kind of a comedy trailer for this game called Back Firewall. That's kind of an AI thing where it's hard to explain. Go watch the trailer.
Yeah, just looking at it's hard to explain.
Like when they finally get to the trailer, it's like, who rendered the trailer at 400 pixels? And then like that's it. That's kind of the end of the thing.
Geez.
And I think we're going to skip most of the rest of this. Norland is like another kind of management, like a top-down management game where you fight and fucking kill your way through a bunch of Norse stuff with these kind of simplistic avatars. Them's Fight Hurts 3.0 we've already seen.
Yeah, they've added some really nice supers to the game.
Looks absolutely fantastic, and their battle pass is going to have a bunch of new characters, so that's cool.
It's coming out soon, or if not already.
Soon, not already. It is. Do they say in the trailer? Because I think it's going to be on Game Pass as well, right?
I don't remember.
Single player mode. Oh, I guess version 3.0 is available. It's coming to console soon. It's already out on Steam. Yeah. But they're getting ready to have their first big content update. Core Keeper Sunken Sea update, blah, Farthest Frontier, some kind of survival bullshit. Synergy was a kind of a colony simulator. That one looked kind of interesting because the art style, like it was like very much you're on like this alien world and you're kind of cultivating like alien life, and it looks kind of like a, who's that guy? Who's that comic guy like from the 70s? Morbius or whatever? Mobius?
Oh, Mobius.
It's not
like
Morbid time.
Yeah.
It's not
I was like, what?
Time.
The vampire.
They
look like vampires. But
the voice acting on this one is terrible.
Oh, jeez.
which is weird. It's like they just got people off the street.
Probably. Maybe it's just developers or something.
Icarus, remember that from the Rust guys getting a new map?
Vaguely.
And then the whole thing ended. This was so weird, Michael. The whole thing ended with an extended gameplay sequence of a mod for Alex, for Half-Life Alex.
That's weird.
Called Half-Life Alex Levitation, which is going to be a free mod for Half-Life Alex. But they ended their show with like a 10-minute sequence of this mod for another video game.
That's so strange.
Yeah. Like, it makes sense because Alex is probably the highest profile game that they have in this showcase, but this isn't Valve. This is a mod for that game.
Although I guess it shows like how versatile their VR stuff is going to be, which is interesting.
That's true. So yeah, that was a PC game show. What do you think? There's good stuff in there, right?
Some solid stuff in there.
And it wasn't exactly breezy. It was like 2 hours long.
It was very long, but I didn't watch the whole thing, so it's fine.
But you know, there were some gems in there, as opposed to previous years where I feel like at the 30-minute mark I start tuning out and I have to keep hitting myself in the leg to stay awake while I'm watching.
I remember the last time I watched it for something that we did, I zoned out so hard. They were like, "Do you remember anything?" I'm like, "Nope."
Yep.
It's like, let's just read off what's there and hope that I remember as we talk about it.
All right, Michael. Well, we're gonna end with Final Fantasy news from today. I'm cribbing next week news, but we're 3 hours in, and we got to end it with a bang. We're not just going out on a mod for Half-Life Alex. I didn't watch the whole thing, but we had two big announcements. First off, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got a... Now, it's coming winter of 2023, and it got a trailer... I'm going to use quote. Hear my quotey fingers for it.
It had a teaser.
Teasing trailer.
And it does show new footage. It's not like this is repeat footage.
Yeah, it shows Cloud walking with Sephiroth, and it shows a certain Lego Maniac that we all love. And mostly just that.
Yeah, there's some dialogue in it that hints at the idea of the fact... I guess spoilers. I'm just going to say this right now. It's been out for a bit. It's not a huge
vaguer. We can be a little vague.
Well, the issue is that the trailer itself says the thing essentially.
That's a little
which
true.
Is that the idea that the timeline is a little screwy.
Yeah,
and that's all I will say about it.
Yeah,
and so, but that's the thing that is being hinted at throughout this trailer.
I'll be slightly more explicit by going to our final story here, which is that Square Enix thinks that before you play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is coming out next winter, that this winter you should play a remake of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core.
Yes.
So anybody who knows those can make some inferences, and I apologize, but that Square Enix is not being very coy about this shit. So
no. Crisis Core is the best spinoff that came out of Final Fantasy VII.
Are you talking shit about Dirge of Cerberus?
I am talking shit about Dirge of Cerberus.
I will not hear.
As well as the Advent Children movie, by the way.
What? Come on, those motorcycles went 360 degrees.
The movie's not terrible, but
so okay.
This specifically is really great.
When I first saw this trailer, I was very worried, Michael, because I thought that they were going to Nomura up the whole combat engine from Crisis Core. But the longer I watched, well, first things first is I went and I looked at a long play for Crisis Core, and okay, these are not Final Fantasy VII tier models. These are not as detailed as Final Fantasy VII characters are.
By that he means the remake.
The remake, yes. You can look at these guys.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, you can look at these guys and you can see that they're like the crappy portable version of those next gen characters.
Yeah, and even then, they still look pretty good.
They look incredibly sharp and incredibly good. But what they look like is less detailed. Like somebody didn't spend a million years putting every pore in their face. Yeah, right.
It's the kind of thing that you would have seen on a PS3, maybe, if not better,
or PS4. Like it would have looked really good on a PS4.
Early PS4, I think would be a better way of putting it.
And then I went out and I looked at so at first when they showed the action, they showed the UI, and I was like, oh no, they took away the dumb slot machine. And then I went and looked it up, and it was like, no, there is the dumb slot machine, and that dumb slot machine is exactly, all these UI elements are exactly where they were in Final Fantasy, in the actual Crisis Core PSP game, at least according to when I compared it to another video. But then also, I don't know if you noticed this, Michael, but if you watch this scene where he's fighting like a behemoth, it's kind of like stiff, and there's some detail like lacking. Like, one of the things about next gen is the backgrounds for next gen usually are full of shit. Like there's a lot of things, and this is a very empty background. Like it's
very much the PSP's. Like it's the corners they had to cut to make everything else look really good.
Right. Like, and then the way that Zack moves in this trailer is like very stiff.
Yeah.
It's very like PSP. So I'm thinking that what happened here, I can't be sure, don't quote me on this, I just watched this right before we started, is that they're just using like all the movement and positional data from the PSP game and just giving it a glow up as far as graphics go, but they're not even like redoing like the motion or the cutscenes. They're literally just using the data from the PSP game, but like attached to way better looking models.
That's absolutely what they're doing, and you can tell by the fact that they didn't change any of the voicings.
Yeah,
the voices are still that kind of cheesy sort of like era that they were doing at this point, and that's either going to be great or bad for you depending on what your nostalgia for that is.
Yes. So, but what's cool about it is like, I kind of wish that Square Enix would do this more, because what it means is that we're going to get a faithful version of Final Fantasy Crisis Core that is playable on modern systems, as opposed to having to wait for some remake horse shit. So I wish they would do... you know what I wish they would do this with? Like Final Fantasy IX.
I'd be cool with that.
I wish they'd take 9 and have like some really, really good looking characters, but then just give them all the motion and sound and audio data from the previous game.
I hope they make, because they announced this, or not announced, but they showed some more footage of Everfire as well.
What is that? What is that?
Do you know what Everfire is? So Everfire is a remake of Final Fantasy VII for the phones.
Yeah, no, I do know what that is. Yes,
that looks exactly like Final Fantasy VII.
It looks like what you would want out of a remake of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, and so they announced that it's going to be in like closed beta later on, but it's only on phones currently. And I would like for them to release it on like the Switch or something. That'd be really fucking cool. And make it like the PS1 game.
Put it on all the consoles. I don't care that it looks like a phone game. I want to play that version of 7.
It looks great, to be honest. It's not even that it looks like a phone game. It just looks like a really up-res PS1 game. And it looks fantastic.
But I don't know. This is the most excited I've been for a thing connected to Final Fantasy VII, because I never finished Crisis Core on the PSP, and I didn't want to play it on an emulator, and I didn't. And to be honest, unlike the battles in Persona 5, I didn't see this coming.
I honestly. It was rumored is the thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if they were actually going to do it.
But this looks great. I 100% am into what I'm seeing here. Like, again, they just glowed up the previous game and make it accessible. And yes, please shut up and take my money, Square Enix.
Yep.
And I don't say that very often anymore. I got nothing but bad stuff to say about Square Enix, but I will. It is kind of stupid that all those soldiers came around the edge and are shooting at Zack, and they're like stormtrooping right around him. Yeah.
Because it's not like Cloud where like he's like doing backflips and shit. He's literally standing there on the phone.
Yeah. Just having a conversation.
He's like, yeah, I gotta take this real quick.
All right. And that's it. That's
it.
That's E3, man.
There's
one more thing, but I'm gonna save that for next week. We covered a lot.
Yeah.
This was a fucking podcast. So hey, if you appreciate the effort, maybe patreon.com/RageSelect. I'm not saying if you do that, we're going to have more 3-hour podcasts, but I'm saying that like, this is an action-packed goddamn podcast for your Monday. Michael, tell them where I can find you when you're not sitting on my couch. I know that it's hard to remember a time when you weren't sitting on this couch watching videos of games, but...
I don't know if I can live outside in the outside world, Jeff. I've been here for so long.
Oh, no. Don't scratch your name into my ceiling.
Well, your fan's not strong enough.
It's dark. Ooh, boy. So dark.
Super dark, if you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yikes.
Or even the joke references that I'm talking about.
Yikes.
The version of it. You can find me... oneofus.net. We do a lot of movies and television reviews. We just recently came out the review for Barry Season 3 as well as Lightyear.
Micah loves Barry.
I love Barry so much.
Barry on the mouth.
Barry's so good, guys. Barry's one of the best shows on television. No fucking hands down. No fucking joke. I'm very, very excited for whatever comes next. That's where there's also a review for Jurassic World Dominion that has Matt Frank and Tessa of RageSelect as well.
Cool. Yeah, go check it out. And again, if you want to help us out, patreon.com. Patreon's been down a little bit. And I appreciate anybody that comes. We got the bonus videos in Discord and the V-Rising server and all that stuff. So come and hang out if you can afford a little extra dosh, kick it our way. And that is E3 2022. Seriously, it was a good year for video games.
So far.
See you next time, everybody.